Welcome back, and if you think action is done, no it's not. It's gonna be Bulldogs versus Ruddy. We've seen it, we talked about it, we gotta leave Yamato out of this. Okay, he's a great coach, he's a great personality, he's a great streamer.
A great voice.
We love you, Yamato. Don't play Arden, but we love you anyway. Anyway, Ruddy coming in with a great score nonetheless, and they will be facing Bulldog. So we need to talk about both teams, because yeah, Ruddy had the left start, like starting with the left foot, and then completely dominated. But Bulldog, okay, come on, they got into that tiebreaker, and then that day they dominated. It didn't look the same, did it?
This is it. I was so disappointed with them from week 1, and then we got into week 2. They looked a bit better, although they had an exceptionally tough day with Los Doletones and Nord being their matchup. So yeah, kind of went 0-2, just scheduled losses on that. But yeah, we got into the tiebreakers the day after, and this team just really looked like they'd finally figured their stuff out, right? They've looked good. Week 1, if we can kind of shelve that for now and just say, okay, whatever, we're warming up, it's a bit of an anomaly. Since then, they have looked a cut above most of the teams in the NLC. And I think this Ruddy series will be a lot closer than people are anticipating. Of course, from the other side, Ruddy still have yet to show us really what we are expecting of them too. So I think a lot of this is just going to come down to which team shows up on the day.
Yeah.
But before we do that, tell me, Duckling, because... Oh, interesting. So we promised to heat up this match. Let's do it by inviting 2 players who are about to jump in champion select. It's Cayman and Leader who are waiting for us. So only Cayman apparently. Okay, we only have Cayman right now to jump into the interview. So might as well bring him in and talk with him. Hey, wait.
Yo.
What are you doing? Where is he?
The dog is coming after the win, you know.
I feel betrayed.
Yeah, but the thing is right now, you know, like basically this is the zone, you know, like I'm in my zone basically,
okay.
and the dog can't enter the zone right now, you know, because everyone is so locked in here in this zone basically.
Man, Cayman, I see besides you 2 pop figures, 3 of them, but you're missing a key piece to those 3 individuals. Oh no, he's there. He just doesn't have the mask. Are you a big fan?
What do you mean? Demon Slayer, I mean, in general, I'm an anime enjoyer, but Demon Slayer Hunter x Hunter is like high
my
up,
man,
you know,
Hunter is my favorite one, by the way. I'm just saying. Also, just
Yeah,
letting you
in
know,
your
what is it? Oh, there you go. I voiced this individual, so.
What? Inosuke?
Inosuke.
That's crazy. That's good.
I did the voice. So I just wanted to break down some barriers with you, man. I'm loving you more than... Okay, so tell me something. This is a big match, okay? Obviously, the dog has been a big mascot for you and the team. So how do you think you can chill and prepare yourself before a big match like this? You pet the dog? Like, guide me through it.
Yeah, so there's, you know, the dog was on our side with the predictions. I don't know if like the video was released already, but I had, you know, Tommy decide earlier this day between Ruddy and Bulldog, and I guess the Tommy Oracle said that Bulldog will win. So I'm really confident actually going into this match because my dog has superpowers. And overall, yeah, the prep is like, you know, feeding him. So like feeding every Bulldog, you know, in my team, you know, I'm roaming to everyone, giving every dog in my team some food. And yeah, so we are all like eaten up and ready to serve Ruddy a good performance, you know.
I mean, obviously, Ruddy is the favorite right now. We are aware of that, but being favorite doesn't mean that they're going to be the winner.
What do you mean favorite? What do you mean? Like they have? No, it's fine.
Oh, you know that. Look at their team. I mean, you went to tiebreaker. They went to lunch.
We are the favorites of the people's heart. You know, like of course they have like 10K viewers. Jankos chilling with 20K of his fans, all say, yeah, please Cayman go 0-10. But you know, like deep in their hearts, they still believe in the under Bulldogs. You know, so that's what we are hoping for, you know, for the underdog enjoyers. And overall, honestly, we are not going into that match thinking like, yeah, they are ex-LEC players, they are unbeatable. Like, they have some weaknesses. They showed some before. And I feel like we will attack straight into that and play to our strength. And I think you will clearly see that actually. Like, I think the analysts will probably be surprised what will happen in the draft or like the games. And I'm hyped. Like, honestly, I'm really hyped because our prep was really cool. I think Ruddy is a cool team, and you've got to play cool to match their coolness. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, thank you so much for this. I wish you the best. It's gonna be a tough one, but you have a dog. I don't know what else to say. You love anime. Hunter x Hunter is your top one. It's my top one as one. So I'm rooting for a good show.
Who do you think will
Best
win
of luck.
today,
And look at
Tommy?
him. Look at him.
Yeah,
Can you see him?
that's the
Zip.
Tomi Araka. Look at
Oh,
this.
right. So he.
Like-
Oh, I mean, he's
prima.
biased.
And
Isn't
look, like, guys, like how can we lose with this? Like, how can we literally lose if we have the cutest animal on the whole wide world on our side? Like Ruddy, which dog do you have? Like, do you have a cat, or like where is your pet that is rooting for you? Like, I don't see any. Like, I think there we are the favorites. And I think we should talk about this, by the way. Like, of course, they have like more LEC titles than some people might ever get from our team. But like that doesn't matter. Like the animal, like we are obviously on the animal side. So it's this year is not esport. This is like dog sports, So the Bulldogs will come out on top, guys. Believe in that. It has to be believed in here.
he has a dog in him. He has a dog in him. Best of luck. Just chill in and do your best. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, and enjoy the show, guys. And we see you after the match, hopefully,
Oh,
with the winners
I'll see you
interview.
soon. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. They have a dog and they have the dog in them. I mean, when you put it that way, it's kind of complicated to say Ruddy has a chance. But when we look into let's look into the real big picture. Obviously, everybody's looking to Ruddy and saying this should be a breeze for them. But we believe in that.
I mean, no. I think obviously Ruddy Sack have to be the favorites, right? When you just look at the names. Although I will say, I've grown more and more fond of Bulldog as the split has progressed. Although, this is only the third week. I think already some of the questions I had, in particular, looking at the bot lane, right? How is Exofang gonna land in the NLC? I think clearly there is a mechanical prospect in there. He is insanely talented, very raw and unpolished still. But I think there is some hope in there that can maybe upset the apple cart a little bit. But just looking at the names and looking at the experience, the favorites, the role, that has to go to Ruddy Sack.
At this point, we're about to jump into Champion Select. Foxtrot, anything to say before the big cities begin?
I honestly think this series is going to be closer than people expect. I think both these teams have shown us so far, on average, a similar level of play. I think from week 2 Bulldog, whereas and Ruddy Sack having shown us a little, they've underperformed to my estimations of what this team can do. And if they fix those issues and the Ruddy Sack can live up to their name, to their expectations, then I agree with Duckling. This should be a very one-sided matchup. But from what we've seen so far, from Bulldogs especially, I think Cayman and that top side as well has been very, very impressive. And there's certainly an avenue where I see, I predicted a 2-1 for this, right? I think it's going to be close. Yeah.
I did a 2-1 as well. I think we were the only ones going for the 2-1. Duckling, you went for the 2-0, didn't you?
Yeah, and I get your opinions. I respect it, and I think it's a fine opinion. I did consider it myself. In particular, right, because I am so sold on their bot lane. I think the match of Kasing and Exofang is a really good match because you have the leader, the veteran, who can create the environment for the young, very talented rookie to shine in, which I think is a good idea. But Yankers has been phenomenal this split. Leader has looked good mechanically, and Wild Perks has been solo killed a few times now. He has certainly also delivered some big plays as well. And coming into playoffs, it's the veteran, and these things you need to rely on. So I've gone for the 2-0, but it wouldn't surprise me if Bulldog at the very least made it that close to 2-0, or maybe even won a game.
Okay, who do you think is going to take this in terms of lane? What is the lane to watch? Foxtrot, when I looked into both matches, like bot lane should be the ideal one for Bulldog. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And I think when you're coming into this matchup here, like, I would argue that, you know, the bot side from Ruddy has been their weaker point. Not that it's been weak straight up, but it could potentially be a place that you can exploit. So Bulldog, yeah, with Exafeng, with Kasing, they've been very, very solid. You can see from the stats as well, right? Like it's kind of close, but Exafeng has just been a step above for me, right? I think he's been super solid, and considering his team has not been as good, right? Like I think that also goes to show the caliber of player that he is, and in the games that Bulldog have won, when Bulldog have looked good, Exafeng has been the tip of the spear for that team. So absolutely keep your eyes on that bot lane, because that's where things are going to go down.
Yeah.
Then you talk about the supports as well, and it's the same thing. Kasing has a lot of experience. He has been, as Declan would say, the grandpa of our NLC scene, as we jump into this first game out of a best of C series. So this means fearless draft. Whoever picks a champion, that champion is done. It's the hardcore one. If there's a Teemo, nobody else is allowed to pick Teemo. It's just an example. I know you don't want to see Teemo, at least in solo queue. Corki and Kalista are being removed. I just say this with all my love for both teams. Don't let Jankos play Skarner.
Yeah.
Please.
Hell no. There's a 0% chance that happens, because like even if you give over Skarner, you can't then play it yourself later on, right? Like there's just no way.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Skarner's got to go. A lot of attention being paid to the bot side so far as well, as we highlighted. If you can pinch those champion pools, we'll see who that works out in the favor, because from Ruddy's perspective, maybe it's like, okay, we just want to get both our ADCs on, you know, both Hamza and Exafeng, like on champions that are uncomfortable on, so it kind of negates the potential advantage there. And from Bulldog's perspective, maybe they're like, okay, well, if we can get Hamza on a champion he's really not comfortable with, then Exafeng, we believe in his champion pool, and he can really take over, right? So there's potential logic coming through there from both the teams. And again, there's a third ADC ban here. Varus is still open as a fine first pick. We've seen a lot of different champions. The Ezreal as a response as well. It's going to be that Ambessa taken away as well. So a lot of power picks gone through here. Ruddy now with their first pick. Let's see which direction they go.
Yeah, I'm taking the AD carry. I think the Varus is a very fine choice, right? Hamza will be able to sit on his lonesome and just farm up. I'm gonna be honest, I want to see an Ezreal in response to this, only because you can match it in range, but also the fact that Exafeng has looked so mechanically good on the champion, kind of looking a bit Korean on it, to be honest, the way he's been able to play some of those fights in terms of the mechanical skill at the very least, and the respect this 17-year-old rookie gets is insane, right? Both the Draven and Kalista banned out against him targeted in every single game so far, because they know they can't afford to give it over, as instead Bulldog secured themselves a strong jungle in Divide, the first and only time with Fearless. We'll see her in this series, so I think it's a good pick as well. The Varus very mobile, right? That's at the very least an easy entrance onto one of the carries already for Ruddy sec.
Oh, exactly, and this is it. This is where you now are
Yes,
starting to think
come on.
about. Yeah, okay, so Exafeng, as you mentioned, very solid on that Ezreal. We said no, Varus is going to be these two main focuses here for this draft, with all the bans that have come through. And now Ruddy Sack have the answer, like, or have to think about the answer. Okay, so Ezreal's very slippery, right? It's very slippery.
Yeah.
Are we gonna, like, how do we go for that engage? How do we match that? How do we actually put some pressure on that? Or do we want to get some power picks on the other side of the map, right? Like this Cassante lock in here as well, like it will nullify whatever Mietic decides to play. And you can see from like the Renekton ban, and also if you've done your research into Bulldog, Mietic likes those carry top laners, right? He likes to be the guy in the top side, like Rumble and Bessa. He even locked in an Aatrox once, right? So from that perspective, if you get a Cassante, you just shut that down. It's going to be the Rel for the CC for the Engage 2. And now last pick for Bulldog here before our second round of bans. They have to go either top or support if they don't want to get those pinched out.
I was wondering if you go for the Rumble, because versus Xanta you're kind of happy, but the idea of, hey, maybe they can land swap and my lane is completely ruined. So maybe think before you pick, as the Rakan is going to be their pick. Support to the carry and jungle is already completed, unless if it was for the boss that Vi could go top. Now for the bans to take away from Bulldog, what do you take away? Are you focusing on the mid lane priority? Or jungles. Because the jungle...
Well, it's jungle.
I think if
Yeah,
you're Bulldog,
exactly.
right, you continue to try and target the jungle bull here and hit Jankos as much as possible. But, I mean, Lita did have a very good game just last week on the Akali, so makes sense to take that away. I think that's maybe with the 2 positions that are left open now on Ruddy's side. I mean, you obviously want to try and ban both of them, right? Both very, very good players. I mean, you have banned the Skarner. That's really the only must ban in the jungle as well. So you could go for more mid lane oriented bans here if you feel like it. To try and make Lita a bit more uncomfortable. But he has a deep enough champion pool to not really be hurt by it. So, I mean, I wouldn't really mind if you ban mid or jungle. I don't think it makes that big of a difference here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, you know, you get rid of these like leader champions, Yone, Akali's gone as well. So it's going to be the Sejuani for Jankos taken down. Now, even though this is obviously not a mid lane ban, the Sejuani gets some extra value when you're playing, when you're the Ruddy sack, because leader will most likely pick a melee champion, right? And so we know how Sejuani pairs with melee champs, with the way that you can easily stack that passive and set up a champion. You know, it's more skirmishy, assassiny, that kind of thing that we expect to see out of leader. I would say here, you know, honestly, we've got enough jump forward. We could see something like the Yone go down. You'd be a little bit heavy on the AD if that was going to be the option. But it's something to think about there as well, as the Rumble's now been taken out for Mietic. He's still got a few options. Like I mentioned, I did talk about that Aatrox, right? Like that Aatrox was something that he picked up as a bit of a spicy one in response. It's going to be that Gnar instead. Okay, so a little bit more oomph coming back from that top side, and maybe even potential to push Perks out of lane.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. I think it's interesting again and give some agency for Mietic to really have some say in this game. Obviously, Gnar can be decisive for team fights as well if piloted correctly. Although that ceiling there is really high, so it certainly is hard. But when you lock in these good ultimates, right, the Vi ultimate, the Gnar ultimate, the Sylas is an obvious choice. In particular, the Gnar ultimate scales so well with AP, so the damage will be absolutely immense. Leader all of a sudden will have a lot of agency in this team fights to either find picks or just make game-changing ultimates. Really, really good counter pick there, for, in my own opinion. As now, the question is, what will Jankos pick? It will probably just be something like either the Xin Sao or the Jarvan, in my opinion. But let's see what he ends up rocking. Yeah, it is that Xin Sao, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Adding some I don't want to say much needed engage, because it doesn't add that much engage, but more follow-up to the engage they already have.
I'd like to see just like you lock in a Syndra here. I think is like really solid in this comp, just because you know, it's not great for Sylas to steal the ulti. It's a little bit of disengage and some damage as well. Hovering that is locked in. Yeah, locked in the Cassio instead. So
That's
you know,
surprising.
Okay, well I would say
dashes.
like you stop the Xin Zhao, and don't forget as well that Kingmaker or Kingslayer, probably Kingslayer makes sense for Sylas. The W on Sylas, is technically a dash, right?
Yeah,
so within the miasma you can't press W if you're Sylas. But what were you thinking about this, Sucking? Because you had some an opinion on this Cassio, especially.
I think it's more so the fact that Cassio did find her place in the meta, but she has just been nerfed. In particular, she turned out to be a Formula 1 race car with feats of strength, gaining 36 extra free movement speed at level 18. Yeah. That has now been halved, so what I will say is I didn't expect her to be locked in. She definitely works in the matchups, but she isn't going to be as powerful as we saw maybe Norway when piloting her in the early start of the seeding stage, when she had that extra agency with the feats of strength. But that also puts less pressure on Bulldog to have success at finding the feats of strength, whereas before, they were really the critical success factor for Cassiopeia to be working out.
So this means they're about to jump into the first game of the series between Ruddy and Bulldog. It's time to throw it into the gauntlet, into the Summoner's Rift. And with that in mind, Brian and Trouble, you can take it away. I'll see you soon.
And here we are on the Rift for our second best of 3 of the day. I can't believe how quick Lost Return is wrapped up. It's only 7 o'clock here in England, and we are on to the Ruddy versus Bulldog matchup. I'm curious what your thoughts are, Trouble, because you're a smart individual and I'm not. So how do we think this particular game is going to go and what we expecting from the draft.
Minions have spawned.
Trouble
Oh,
is
there you go.
muted.
Hello,
There you
everyone.
go. Hello.
Apparently, I was muted. Okay. So
Do you want to
Ruddy
start
are coming in as the complete favorites, right? That is 100%. However, for Bulldog, there were a few questionable decisions in terms of the big ban phase because they banned the Akali out on 4-5, which kind of gives the hint of maybe an Azir for Cayman, which fits the theme, right? They've got a front to back going on, a lot of engage. You want a lot more extra damage coming through, which Casio gives as well. However, wait for it, because Lulash has been found on that level 1. Pushed out of his jungle. Now, if you're a Vi and you get invaded last minute, this hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Especially for your clear, and especially depending on where you end up on the map and what the priorities lie there, you might also lose a quadrant of your jungle. So we're just going to keep our eyes on how Lulash does in that early game.
Oh, we're seeing the big old lane swaps, but every lane has gone topsy-turvy. We've got bot lane and mid lane, we've got top lane and bot lane, and mid lane and top lane. So everyone's playing a different lane from where they should be. And actually,
Except
something
for
we
Cayman?
did... Except for Cayman. Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
sorry,
all of,
except
all of
for
Bulldog,
Bulldog, right.
all of Bulldog
Yeah.
are where they want to be, or where they would hope to be. But what we actually saw about this was Bulldog during the group stage, this was probably one of their biggest weaknesses. They were an incredibly good team fighting team, but early game, they struggled to understand the lane swaps. And one of our major concerns about them was they didn't seem to have like a decent answer to that lane swap. So I want to see some growth in them as we've now moved on to the playoffs on how they handle these lane swaps.
Ooh, and on the lane swaps as well, what I really love that Ruddy have done right here is they've put their their bot lane mid, which means you constantly have a 2-man unit over in the mid lane.
Oh, that's so
which,
good.
Remember what we said, we need to keep a track of Lulash to see if he'll get 2 quadrants of his jungle, because one of them is already stolen. Now look at that, Cassandra is closing in from the bot lane. You also have Rel. Lulash is being pushed out, forced to
Jankos?
flash even.
He's flashed the wall, but he's found Exifang instead. Catches him with the knock-up from the free talent strike that he's been used. Flash is available to Exifang. Gets over the wall with that one. Now Kasing locked down is just going to go for a grand escape. He's blast in. Lulus, you fool. Kasing will survive, but the jungle is going to be heavily impeded by this.
Again, you mentioned earlier on, Bulldog did not have a good time in terms of lane swaps. It feels like they cannot necessarily figure out exactly how to execute them. And again, right here, genius move from the Ruddy. Put that bot lane in mid, which means whichever quadrant Lulash tries to invade to take a second one for himself, you can just have your bot lane defend that themselves. So right now he's heading towards that top side. Look how hesitant he is though. He might just stick to just taking the scuttle crab right here. The Vi walking in level 3 with 70% HP into a black jungle is a very scary thing, especially knowing that the bot lane from Radisak is just sitting in that mid lane ready to engage you at any point. And look at that, Jankos. He's just leaving to be a nuisance for Lulash. He's just going to be pushed out again.
Hustling is a bouncer for his own jungle. He is making sure nothing goes down. Now we do see actually a little bit of a scrap there. Hamza losing a fair amount of HP, but he is going to be able to hold. Leader doing a fantastic job of handling this versus Miatek. Miatek is about to gnaw out, and with Lulish in the area, a gank potential was there. But Lulish, level 3. The other jungle's been cleared out. Lulish has had 1 quadrant. That's all he's had so far in this game, where it's 3 to Jankos. Jankos has such a significant lead over his opponent right now.
And let's see how Jankos is going to use that lead that he has. Sends out one of the most powerful early game champions on the Rift. Very good at skirmishing, very good at fighting 1v1, 1v2 even, especially after having that level 6 as well. And of course, for Radisak, especially when it comes back to the question on the draft, I'm going to hold my thought here.
Exafang's
No flash.
flashless, gets caught by the knock-up into the back from Perks. Ignite's thrown down. Exafang able to jump away to safety with that E, but getting heavily punished. Radisak definitely controlling the tempo right now.
Absolutely. Now, moving back to my point about leader right here and the Akali ban. I thought this was gonna be a Sylas ban for sure. Like, the dude is a Sylas player, and you're giving him Gnar, Vi, Casio, and Rakan ult for free. Reminder that here, when you have a Gnar, Miatek is gonna have to pretty much handle his own rage bar before a fight begins to make sure that you're getting in at the right time to Gnar out and use your ultimate. Leader can have that for free. He can yoink that off you, join a fight, engage it, and you will be off the timer. So let's have a look and see later on what Leader prioritizes in terms of ultimates when these team fights start, because he has so much variety to choose from and so many engage tools in them.
Absolutely. Well, we're seeing Jankos start up these grubs. Is being traded for that that Hextech Drake. So Bulldog are at least getting something off the map off this one. Well, Jankos is quite happily just going to be securing himself then. Hustling. Just going to do a little bit of sniffing around. We'll place a ward down to make sure he knows exactly where Lulish is and what he is up to. Lulish is quick enough with it. He may be able to go steal those chickens, but I think Hustling being the gatekeeper and Perks actually coming in. Perks has the ultimate. They might not be able to secure the dragon, but there could be a fight that ensues here. They find the lockdown immediately onto Kasing. Is able to battle dance away to safety, though. And Ruddy Sack not going to be getting any more.
Great stuff right here from Bulldog. In and out. They take the neutral objective, which is what they came for. They lose nothing. A lot of flashless members on the side of Bulldog, but also very slippery. The Ezreal, the Rakan, extremely slippery when it comes to those fights. And all the utility that they have into their kit. And back to that top lane, Leader was able to sway the situation by swapping away from the Cassiopeia, which is a bad matchup, especially early on, and playing into the Gnar. But now Bulldog have sort of reconfigurated the map for themselves and put Cayman into Leader's Silas. You see that Kasing is also roaming towards the top side of the map. And I feel like this is what Kasing kind of needs to do right here, especially in a lane swap scenario. He needs to make sure that he guards his solo laners. Oh, but Hustling is sneaking around.
Been spotted by the ward, but Jankos, now level 6, has slid in. There's going to be the knock-up from Kasing, but Kasing finds himself locked in place. Caught by the knock-up. In jumps Leader. First blood to the Silas.
Great stuff right there, getting Silas head as well. He's going to be huge. It's a small issue with the overlay, but it will catch up. There you go. Already done and dusted. Great pathing right there. For Jankos was already stealing the red buff. He was not seen doing so. Hustling to a very good pathing, also not seen, heading towards the top side. Kasing thought he was safe, walking in, placing down some vision, covering for Cayman as well. Wasn't quite the case. We did mention he was flashless as well, so a very good punish for your first blood from Ruddy.
Yeah, really nice little pick up there. Did see Perks and Miatek just having a brief exchange with one another. Miatek is a player who I've actually been getting slightly excited about. I think if we cast our mind back to week 1, where Miatek just went so hard down as we went for a replay and ping back. The Miatek, the lane swap really cost him. He died 5 times very, very quickly, but still was able to put an absolutely tremendous performance in on that Rumble. We'll see if he can repeat that once again, as we're seeing Ruddy reconfigure the lanes themselves once again. They're sending now Perks up to top side. They're sending Leader into bot side. And again, the tempo is very much in their favor, as Hustling is just continuously moving around, getting wards down, trying to spot where Lulish is on the map, so Jankos can continue to extend his jungle lead over him. And now that Tiamat's finished, those jungle camps are going to go down way quicker. So it's going to be quite scary to try and find that contest if he jumps into your jungle, because he is going to mop up camps.
Yeah, Xin Zhao is very, very scary early on, especially when you've got extra engage coming in from Hustling onto this rel. And I feel like I've sort of figured out a pattern with Bulldog. I'm going to hold on to the pattern because Miatek does not want any part in this pattern. That's called the tower dive.
He's about to gnaw out, though. Gets the slam back down onto 1. He falls. Humza secures the kill. Jankos survives. Leader survives. Ruddy played that absolutely beautifully.
This was a little bit of a hindsight on what happens when you've got Silas and Gnar. Gnar has to regulate the bar to use the ultimate. Silas does not give a single F. He just steals your ult, uses it against you. By the time you Gnar out, you're dead. That's exactly what happened to Miatek right there. Now, we're going to see this one more time. Leader still won the 1v1 versus Miatek right here. They're just going to trade back and forth. Now, the pattern that I was talking about with Bulldog Gaming, as this is going to go on, It's pretty much the build up of the wave towards the tower dive as Ruddy are going to engage onto the Gnar. Is the fact that Bulldog Esports are choosing a lot of squishy compositions with very heavy damage dealers. So usually 4 of them, and then you've got Kasing on something like the Nautilus, the Rakan, the Leona, the Rel, like a very engage heavy support. Now, what the difference is between the Leonas and the Nautilus and the Rels is that they're tankier and can face check for vision. Kasing on the Rakan cannot necessarily do this on his own. So if Ruddy get ahead, they start getting towers, they start depriving Bulldog Esports of a vision, it's going to become really difficult to even step inside their own jungle to try and take some terrain back.
You're saying that Ruddy doing a fantastic job of keeping Cayman away from leader right now. Even though the Proto Belt is now finished up onto leader, so he has got a full item in his inventory. You've also got that Titanic Hydra just finished up by Jankos. You got the Ghost Blade finished up by Humza. Items are starting to come online already for the side of Ruddy, and it's good timing because that dragon is spawning up. We did see Perks teleport topside though. He's just looking to try and pick up this wave, but we obviously the knockout come in. Leader slides into the pocket of Kasing. He has the quickness. Jankos continues to chase forward. Lands the wind, become lightning. They're not going to go for anything else off the back of that one. Dragon definitely on the table here for the side of Ruddy. As another teleport's coming in. It looks like there may be a return engage here from Lulish. Doesn't decide to pull that trigger. Cayman has slid in. Hustling misses the Magnet Storm. Doesn't land it onto anybody. Petrifying Gaze still up and available to him. Hustling gets caught out. The Chains of Corruption. Look for the spread. Lockdown only lands onto 1. That's going to be Warfare going down in the middle of all of that. Absolutely huge pickup. As Exafang is going low. Not going to be Humza landing the arrow. We do see a shutdown going picked up by Cayman in the middle of all of this as he's going to continue to chase onto Humza. Double kill picked up for him. Leader with a Kingslayer will get another kill. Jankos is incredibly low. Bulldog, fantastic job of turning that fight around.
What an extremely scrappy fight from both sides. You've got Hustling jumping in and missing the ultimate. Then you've got a crazy back and forth, diving towers, overextending from Hamsters to hit the Q on a very low HP target. Absolute craziness. Well, talking about the craziness, let's watch this one more time. You've got Cayman, first of all. TPing right into the center, the eye of the storm. Hustling, I gotta say, a little bit too late with the trigger right there, especially now that you can visually see the TP landing in. It's a little bit easier to do that. Chain of Corruption, fantastic, lands on 3 players. Vi instantly ends up going down, and that Xin Zhao is tanky enough to keep the front line. And this is where the overextend starts happening from the Ruddy side. You see Hams walks a little bit too far forward to try and snipe Exafang in the back line, and this tower is doing work. Reminder, now it takes 5 seconds for the tower to drop heat, but we have another fight.
Back into the action, Jankos incredibly low. I believe that was the chain thrown out by Humza. No, they're on cooldown. True Shot Barrage hits onto Leader. He's taken down in the middle of all of the fight. Perks hasn't found that window, hasn't got the ultimate, but Miatek gets the lockdown on to Hustling as he is taken out by Cayman. Miatek incredibly low. Cayman blinking health bar, 2 HP on the snake. But Ruddy cannot convert, and Bulldog take another good team fight for themselves.
And look at the KDAs as well. 2-0 and 3. 500 gold up onto this Ezreal. It's gonna start becoming a little bit problematic when all the range is gonna start coming through from the Ezreal. All the poke is gonna start coming through from the Ezreal. Leader on that Salas is gonna have to find the angle to get onto that sleeper target, and then you've got Kasing, and then you've got Miasma coming through from Cayman. So they do have a bunch of protective spells to use from the side of Bulldog to try and defend Exafang, and that's not even taking in consideration the slippery hit that Ezreal has on his own.
Jankos, he's down. Kasing secures the kill with the quickness. And this is what I like about Bulldog. This team has so much fight in them.
Would you say that Bulldog has bite?
I already said it. I've said that line last week.
Right.
I can't do it again.
But they
do have bite.
I think this is going to be feats of strength.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. +1.
No. They haven't got a tower or the kills because the kills are secured by Ruddy Sack. So they need a tower if they want to secure it. 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3.
Ruddy have secured the kill feat of strength though, so if they can secure this kill onto Miatek, they can then transition that into tower, but Leader, he's going to have to play protection, has the Petrifying Gaze, as now Miatek is getting chased onto, throws it out. Can Leader clear the wave? He's been able to do so, and I think that should be enough from Leader to secure the feat of strength for his team. Tower goes down. Ruddy able to find an answer here on the map.
Yeah, you saw how both teams instantly run one top, one bot to try and take that tower for the feats of strength. Leader right there, great reply. Still in a way, the Cassiopeia ultimate dissuading the situation, allowing Ruddy to secure that extra movement speed for the time being for the team. Alongside other first items, completions right there, and Rift Herald already up on the map. Let's see where the priorities lie within the teams. We do see that we have a back onto Exofang. Very close.
Oh,
He just walk out to ignite him.
There's no way he did that. That is so... That might be the greatest dumb thing I've ever seen. Yeah,
That's how you assert dominance, okay?
I
That's
mean,
how you
alright.
assert dominance.
Yes, he did use his summoner spell, but he's off the tempo of Bulldog. And it actually might result in a Rift Herald, so what looked like a bit of a troll play actually may work out here as he finds the opening onto Kasing, but Kasing gets the grand entrance off. Jankos now left on his lonesome to deal with his Herald. The rest of the team collapse in. And that will be Herald secured here for the side of Ruddy. So ultimately it works out. Now Perks and Mirtek going toe-to-toe. Mirtek's about to get that ultimate. This could get a bit dicey for Perks. Gets caught by the wallop. Is able to escape thanks to his W though. Mirtek not going to translate that into a kill. There's a whole bunch of petals here in the mid lane for Exofang to grab.
Another one down there. As
Oh my
Mirtek
word.
is taking that bot lane tower.
At what
Leader.
cost though? Leader steals away the Gnar. I think he's predicting a
none.
fight.
There you go. No cost from Bulldog. And actually, I'm just gonna say, these fights look very messy. The
Yeah.
setups are a little bit non-existent. I would like to see a lot of the veterancy coming out from Radisak in terms of vision. Oh no, Jankos.
Jankos is absolutely popped as Lulish gets his revenge for that early game, secures the kill for his team. And Bulldog, I think they have a lot of flaws as a team. One thing I cannot fault them on is their ability to find fights and kills and team fight, just anything to do with putting people into grey screen. That is where they shine. Now Leader takes the tower, gets a slam onto Mirtek, but Mirtek is putting some serious damage into Leader. He's about to gnaw out himself. The wallop, the lockdown. Cayman comes in with the twin fangs and secures the kill.
Might have been a little bit of miscommunication right there, because I thought Hustling was around, and that was a very good Gnar ult coming in from Leader. So if the lockdown and all the CC came through from Hustling as well, I do think that this would have been a bit different, at least until Cayman touched ground over on that bot lane. However, Bulldog come out ahead again. I think Hustling was a little bit too deep into the jungle at this point, setting down some vision. And again, this is what I was talking about before. I'd like to see some of the veterancy coming out from Ruddy. We know Kasing also has it from the side of Bulldog. Pressure out the waves, go towards objectives, set down your vision. I just haven't been seeing this enough. There's just a lot of back and forth happening, a lot of skirmishing, a lot of fighting. But a lot of the fundamentals are sort of overlooked for the sake of those fights. This is why we're seeing the map literally being 50-50 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now 19 minutes into the game, gold lead. Very close between the two teams, actually. Not really too much of a major difference. Leader stealing away the Gnar. May have to use it. Mirtek loses a massive chunk of health. Leader's going to try and clear the wave out. Teleport's coming in to try and save him, but Mirtek secures the kill. Teleport is too little. It's too late, and now Perks may find himself in a bit of danger. The tower's going to go down. Bulldog finding picks everywhere they go. It's beautiful to watch.
The chain CC was very well executed towards the top side of the map, but don't forget the Rift Herald that Radisak took earlier on. This is going to net them a mid-lane tier 1 tower, and don't forget in 30 seconds we also have the Dragon coming up. So Radisak can use that time to actually start setting up some vision, but Bulldog really want more than TPing in.
It's all about the picks, baby. That is Hustling going down. Lulish gets his second kill of the game.
Great timing, support down, Leader is also down onto that Silas, doesn't have TP to come in. Bulldog are going to head towards the side of the map, which is Atakan. Still 6 seconds for that Rel, has to spawn, has to walk towards the top of the map.
Oh no, lockdown on a Perks. Bulldog just have their number. The lane swap that Ruddy pulled out just hasn't really blossomed into anything as Ruddy clearing the wards. Atakan will be shredding through those resistances, but there's the flash petrifying gaze from Cayman. Humza goes down. Jankos trying to re-engage into this one as Atakan is half HP. Leader gets the slam down only onto one. Huge Magnet Storm from Hustlin. Massive turnaround. And Ruddy Sack find their opening. It's a triple kill onto Jankos. Bulldog do answer at back. But what a redemption from Humza.
My God, Ruddy Sack bringing it back, stopping the Atakan, getting key kills on that one. A bunch of shutdowns. Lulash goes down, which is the most important part, which means that Bulldog can no longer go for the Atakan with Jankos alive. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about setting down some vision perks, walking in completely blind, ends up being completely punished, running into 5 members. And this is, again, Hums walks up fantastic. Flash all from Hums right there. You'd need to have more than Faker hands to dodge that one. And then it's a 3 versus 5 with 3 melee champions. And this is where the strength of Xin Zhao comes in. They were all bounced up. Silas with a bunch of his passive procs, as well as Jankos doing the work. Bulldog don't get the Atakan, and now they're going to head towards that dragon.
I mean, Dragon Soul is a pretty nice one here for Bulldog. That Cloud Soul on the likes of Lulish and Kasing is going to be very impactful, but right now it looks like Ruddy have been able to wrestle their way forwards. True Shopper are stolen away there by Leader. Has got that to work with as he just throws it out, just clipping onto that bot wave. Going to do a little bit of a tidy up. Ruddy Sack going to be able to answer with this dragon. And once this dragon's off the map, all the attention then shifts up towards that top lane and towards that Atakan, although Ruddy... This could be a bit of a mistake. Cayman, he's just going to teleport away. They see it happening, and that's Atakan. Ruddy committed too many people bot side.
Yeah, Jinx Rocket Cassiopeia coming straight through that bot lane. And Ruddy thought they had a flank onto the Cassio, but the insta TP towards the top side of the map. I wanted to start saying that I wish that Bulldog had used that time where Ruddy were taking the dragon to try and set up towards the top side of the map, but that was a very good bait, overstepping, if you will, from Cayman. Fully calculated to take that Atakan. Right now, you don't necessarily have a lot to fight for, but Atakan does last for 2.5 minutes, and Baron would have spawned by then. It will be just on the edge of it timing out, but potentially Bulldog can find a fight around that timer to try also snowball that into a Baron.
I mean, Foxy got me on the hype train last week for Cayman. Guy is performing right now. 5 and 2. On the Cassiopeia, about to get that Leandries finished up, so it'll be 3 items in as well. Really having a lot of impact in this game. Really amazing Petrine gazes as well we've seen consistently from him in this game. And Ruddy, who I felt like they had control of the early game, have really kind of slipped that control and are starting to struggle a little bit here versus Bulldog, who are just out-muscling them in the team fights.
Yeah, and I feel like the initial plan from Ruddy when they came in was very solid. However, progressing through the game, again, a lot of the fundamentals are missing. Running into Fog of War, not necessarily using the fact that you've got advantage through waves to push towards that side of the map, to set down your vision, to try and make a play towards there. Flanking a Cassiopeia when TP is up, and then you get Atakan taken away from you. Now, Bulldog, we have a 1v1.
Leader going very low. Miatek has the revive as well, so this is just too risky to be taken. But Leader has been seen out there. I saw top laners in my head. It was both top laners fighting. Nope, it's mid versus top. But on the other side, we're going to see the engage from Lulish. Straight on the Hunter on the back. Massive petrifying engage from Cayman. Big Manic Storm to come in for the response, but Cayman is going to be able to just about get out of this one. Perks shows up to the fight a little bit too slow, but Leader's able to get himself one. They've got the revives. It is so free for the side of Bulldog. It doesn't matter what happens here. Leader low. Leader will go down to Miatek, who continues to chase forward. He gets the Gnar. He gets the boulder toss. He retreats out, and Humza just about survives. But Bulldog ultimately chunking that tower, doing oh so much work. That tower may even go down. No local gold, but Bulldog's still in control right now.
Bulldog had one objective and one objective only in this particular engage, and that was to kill Jankos. They all threw their bodies in to take Jankos down, to take that Baron for free, but Jankos is alive, the cavalry is alive, there's 4 members of Ruddy running straight through that jungle, and let's see if the Polish jungle will be able to steal that one.
I don't think so. I think he's just going to back off. Baron is secured for Bulldog. And there was not a lot of faith in them coming into this game, but after seeing this performance from Bulldog, they have improved massively. Those tiebreakers really brought out something in Bulldog. And they've just unlocked themselves as an incredible team fighting team.
Let's see, Bulldog. They do not have a lot of weight. It's literally just a cannon hanging on by a thread right there with the Baron buff on top. I would like to see a little bit more variety in terms of how they want to push. If you just stick to one lane, it's going to be pretty easy for Ruddy to just bunch around that lane and just clear out the waves. Right now, they're going to take some control of that bot lane side of the map. Hustling.
Oh, Hustling comes in for the Magnet Storm, but he might find himself in danger. XFang trying to make a breakaway. Not going to get that lockdown. Leader with that quickness, chasing forwards, but hasn't been able to get onto XFang. And this guy is showing up right now, taking out Leader 6-0. The 17-year-old ADC, XFang, having an absolutely superb performance here for Bulldog. 19-17 is the standing right now on the kills. And Bulldog, they're going to use this Baron to siege the base.
And also, what a fantastic display on the Ezreal. Well, there's almost like criticism towards EU Ezreals versus Eastern Ezreals, if you will. But that is a fantastic game from him on that Ezreal as well. 6 on 8, as you mentioned, 2.3k gold up. And Ruddy have a problem in their hands right here. 5,000 gold deficit. They do not have dragon stacks. They are only on 1. I feel like this game could very well go up to the next Baron that's spawning in 4 minutes, and Bulldog are going to be more than happy to do that. Just keep shoving in those waves and then slap Ruddy with the extra items in your inventory. 3 right now for Exofang and a couple more components coming through.
Looking absolutely amazing, Bulldog. They're on soul point. Like you said, Baron's probably going to be the big decider for this game. I think if Bulldog can secure that, they're going to be able to very much take this game. They got a fast Baron with a Cassio here, especially a 3-item Cass. He's just farming up, I assume, trying to get that Seeker's Arm Guard put together before the next fight, and that is going to be a big difference maker. And you can see from the inventories of Bulldogs with the Tenacity pot picked up onto Lulish, but right now, Bulldog are just looking for those big kind of team fight winning and deciding items that can potentially just win the game off the back of this.
Yeah, they're so aggressive as well. They're just walking inside the jungle. They're not even necessarily grouped up. Exofang?
No, Exofang is going to get hit. They're going to put the redemption down. He goes for the flash. In jumps Kasing to save his life. Exofang's got the movement speed to break away. The rest of the team are making their way over. And here comes Bulldog to put Ruddy in their place. Yankos locked down. Petrifying Gaze doesn't quite hit, but it doesn't matter. They've lost 2. Bulldog somehow keep Exofang alive. Grandad showed up and saved the day. Kasing, that was beautiful.
That was incredible reflexes coming in from Bulldog to defend Exofang, but from Exofang himself as well. The way he defended himself, dipped into the jungle. This is going to be the second inhibitor going down, and this could very well be game for Bulldog.
I think this is definitely game for Bulldog. Baron, be damned, as they're just going to look to try and finish this one up. Nice little knockback from Perks, but he is losing so much HP. Meertek goes low, isn't going to go down. Same for Perks. Perks can heal up. All of the inhibitors are down. Bulldog can reset. They've got 2 minutes till Baron. Ruddy, what can you do?
Double super minions in every lane for Ruddy. I had my doubts. I'm like, what is Bulldog doing? They're all playing super aggressive. I said they're all singled out, playing super aggressive, and Leader sees the target. He manages to connect the E onto that Ezreal, and everybody bunches up. But look at Kasing. Da-da-da-da! Super Kasing flies in to save the day. Exofang staying alive means you can win the team fight, and that's exactly what happened. They won enough time for the rest of Bulldog to dive in and save the day.
Absolutely brilliant by Kasing. Came in at the nick of time. 2-man knock-up. Incredibly clean play from them. 1 minute 20 now until the Baron spawns up, and Bulldog, you know they're going to want to be fighting for that. It's absolutely on their card right now. This team, so good at team fighting. It is their major strength as a roster. And I had my concerns that they were going to be able to, you know, muscle their way through Ruddy. But right now, ouch, by the way. Right now, they're definitely proving that they are very much capable of muscling through Ruddy. Ruddy are going to have to be looking at the drawing board and, you know, figuring out what Game 2 is going to have to look like for them, because This Bulldog is definitely stronger than a lot of people predicted them to be.
And listen, there's the gutsy way and there's the textbook way that you can finish this game. That's the gutsy way right now, which is killing them straight up.
Oh, a big petrifying engage from Cayman. Locks down 2. Perks is trying to come in. Massive slam back does come out, though, onto everybody. Leader goes gold in the middle of the fight, and so far nobody's died. But Ectofang goes godlike as he takes down Perks. Leader, the last man standing. Xfang secures himself a double kill. Yankos being chased down. They get everything onto him. Triple kill onto the Ezreal. Cayman putting some damage in, and there it is. Bulldog take game number 1 versus Ruddy.
What an upset right here on the first day of the NLC playoffs. Obviously, nothing's over. This is a best of 3, but Bulldog being ahead on their first game of playoffs is absolutely mind-blowing. They went 1-3 in their group. 1-3. They were only able to pick up 1 victory, and I feel like this was very decisive. They keep playing those comps with 4 champions that are super squishy but very high damage, and an engaged support on Kasing. So much weight on Kasing's shoulders, and he keeps delivering. He keeps giving us this clutch engages, saving his AD carry. Excellent display of how to play these comps.
Absolutely. I think what I really liked about Bulldog was we saw some life in them during the group stage. It just never really transitioned to anything because they were 1-3. They had a really, really bad group stage. Then we got to the tiebreakers of group stage, and we saw this just very vicious Bulldog, a team who recognized, right, we have a lot of the fundamental stuff not down, and we're not going to be able to fix that in a week. There's no way we can fix that. But they realized that they were very good at team fighting, so they just heavily lent into that. And it just feels like a lot of these teams aren't able to match the team fighting of Bulldog. I personally put this as a 2-0 for Ruddy going into this, because I genuinely believe that there was like a limit of where Bulldog would kind of match people on team fighting capabilities. I'm starting to question how low I rated them, actually. I think Bulldog might be one of our top team fighting teams in the league. They are absolutely superb. Anyway, I've rambled for long enough, so we're going to pass this over to the desk to break that game 1 down.
He knows. He knows. He's beginning to believe. But that's why you and me, Foxtrot, you know, the higher intelligent beings on the desk. Sorry, Duckling. We predicted a 2-1, and we went for Ruddy, but
here's a counterpoint to that, Archer. If it is
What
a
do you
2-0
mean?
for Bulldog or 2-1 for Bulldog, you're just as wrong as I am. It doesn't
I was
matter how
gonna
close
say,
you are to
like-
being right or wrong. If you're not right, you're wrong. So, I mean, I will say, very good game here for Bulldog. This was a statement game from them. Not
Yes.
just the bot lane stepping up. Many positive points as well, but I mean, a lot of credit in my eyes has to go to Exofang. He looks so good on this Ezreal. But this was, I mean, one of the close fights. Cayman really being the main highlight here. Pushing this Kasofia to the limits, it seems. As it was originally Ruddy Sack who seemed to be getting on the winning end of this fight.
Yeah, you can see Kasing's counter engage there was sick. And the thing is, like, Ruddy, this is really just like a good example of how the entire game went. At the beginning, it looked good for Ruddy, right? And then as it went on, it looked bad for Ruddy. And this fight was no different, right? They were absolutely dominating this first fight, the beginning of this fight, and then they just did a bit too much and they fell off. The problem was that for this game, sometimes if an underdog beats an overdog, or they're just a dog, I don't know. If the underdog wins the game, it comes from a really strong early game, right? A strong early game that you snowball and you're just like, okay, whoopsie-daisy, my bad. Like, we'll just go next and it's cool. This was not one of those games. This was not a game where Bulldog got the early game, ran away with it, and Ruddy like, whatever, yeah, we messed up, go next. No, Ruddy were winning the early game. They had the early game, and then Bulldog turned it around. And a big moment in that game where it all turned around was the Atakan play, right? So the absolute 5D Galaxy Brain macro movement here, which we're going to see. Yankos and Hamza, like the Ruddy have just taken Dragon, and I was critical of Bulldog here for letting this Dragon go down for free. They try to collapse on Cayman, but Cayman's like, nah, he's got a TP to the top side with 4 other members of Bulldog, and it's a 5-man unit. They just get the race that can for free, and it's the strongest bloody thing in the game. It's ridiculous. Like, it was actually one of the strongest like macro calls I've seen. It didn't come from Lots of Dawn, it didn't come from Nord, it didn't come from Ruddy. It came from Bulldog.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that play. We laughed about it Oxtra, but genuinely just a really good move to be able to spend just 1 TP and get an Archon for free. So often, right, we see these teams either overcommit or overforce their hand forward, and that is the freest Archon I've seen in, I mean, it hasn't been out for years, but this month it's been out, really. I mean, daylight robbery, really, that it was that simple, but just a brilliant mind game there from the side of Bulldog. I genuinely felt like that had a big impact. And then, as we get into the later fights here, I think that was the big standout performance, Kasing, if I do recall correctly from the fight we have here, where it was Ruddy trying to catch out Exofeng, but Exofeng, oh so slippery, this 17-year-old rookie just really showing up against these big stars, buying a lot of time. And look at Kasing here, the veteran, right, coming to save his son, clearly cleaning up for him, and then the fight executed beautifully from there from Ruddy. Not Ruddy, sorry, rather Bulldog.
You're not going to do the sound that Georgia made? Here comes Kasing! Like, that was it. That was the moment. Kasing's hero moment, and there he is. Just saves his life, and yeah, Bulldog turning it around. It like the synergy that team has, how they work as a unit, is beautiful to watch.
I think they hit a rough mark as they were doing groups, but after the tiebreaker, it's not the same team. I think if the same team from group stepped up into tiebreaker, they would just be gone. And right now, they look like top of the bracket, as Hiprain said. Probably top 4, probably top 5. Let's see how they perform. But again, it's game 1 of the series. And we really need to highlight this. Look at this. Crazy individual. Exofeng. Wow. That's big. Sante with an 8,000 damage. It's
he couldn't do much there, right?
Yeah.
That Nile got locked in, and we're like, okay, maybe we can play towards this top side. Maybe we can get some priority here, put some pressure on here. And this is it. He just couldn't do anything this game. But huge damage from Exofeng. We highlighted this bot lane matchup, and yeah, both with the highest damage on their teams, but specifically like long range, a lot of poke. Just expected to have some high damage numbers, but with the way that one went down, like especially for Ez, like if you're playing versus Cassante, you're playing versus Rel, you think, well, maybe my poke won't land, he won't do a lot of damage, they can block it and stuff. But my goodness, when you're 4 items ahead, no one's blocking that. No one's blocking that, and this Exofeng just absolutely popped off this game.
I'm gonna ask, because we're about to jump into a little pause before game 2, but my question is, was this a draft diff? Because the Cassio was extremely good at preventing those dashes. A lot of them had dashes. Ezreal was slippery, as Duckling was recalling, but Ezreal is no longer allowed. All those things are gone. Was this a one-hit wonder and this band is gone? Or will the dogs bark again? I need to know. Predictions before we go into Champions.
I think with how confidently they won this game, despite even failing in the early game, this felt like a statement, right? That they were here to compete. I'm not going to say they're going to go out and just smash the second game too, but I think this series will be much closer than even I anticipated, who have actually been positively surprised by Bulldog so far. They could win this 2-0, they could win this 2-1, they could also lose next game. Every opportunity is open, but the odds are certainly shifting, and I'm feeling way more confident in saying this will not be a one-sided game coming into the game 2.
Okay.
I love that.
He
I
takes the safe
have
option.
to. I mean, it's just 10 out of 10 analysis. That's why I pay Duckling the big bucks, right? I mean, they could win this next game. They could lose this next game.
I mean, and if I'm
That's
wrong,
it.
right, I'm wrong.
He's
right?
not
Give
wrong.
me a hot take.
He's not
Give me a hot
wrong.
take.
He's not wrong,
A
man.
lot can happen, and one Nexus will go down eventually.
That's it.
Top tier analysis.
Precisely. Yeah, I predict. I'm seeing a rift with summoners. That's my prediction
They're
for the
gonna
next
lock in
game.
10 champions next game, I'm sure of it. And they'll ban 5.
Yeah, that's it. I love that. Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, honestly, I'm taking the piss a little bit at Duckling, but I agree with your point. Like, we've suddenly, the expectations coming into this series, right? We've already shattered them. And, in this first game, it's not going to be one-sided for Ruddy. Obviously, Arch and I knew that. That's why we predicted 2-1. But still,
cocky,
regardless of
mate.
what
You predicted
happens.
them to lose, man. Come on.
So
I mean, we
red.
still
Look
predicted
at him.
2-1.
He's so red.
The closeness.
Okay, let's
I'm
do a
losing
hot
it. Send
take,
it to a break.
Fox.
I'm
Fox.
losing.
No, I'm using this. Fox, give me. Wait, where you go?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Look
Yeah.
at this. Hey, Fox, how you doing? 2-1.
Look,
and then
I
there's
mean,
that little
listen.
individual.
We can do this. But I mean, to be fair, That's still the Ruddy logo next to our predictions, mate. So, yeah, we thought it would be closer. We thought it would be closer than other people anticipated this series, and obviously it's showing that it's not going to be Ruddy one-sided. But you know, Bulldog, after that game, as Darkwing said, that was a statement game. I would put them as favorites now to win this. So they're looking good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make a hot statement. I've completely lost it. Just send it to break, and I'm crying over
Someone's gonna win this one, and someone's gonna lose it. I don't know. This is top analysis. As we toss it to a break, and we actually have an ad in the middle of the break. Wonder that. Oopsie daisy. That was.
Send it to a break, please.
That was a break.
Send it to
Idiot.
Hey.
We are back.
Hell yeah.
Just, doing a little slippery. There you go. We are back into what could be the game that decides Bulldog's future, or maybe Ruddy sack him back into this series. The first game was a complicated one for them, and I know a lot of people back at home are wondering what is happening. A lot of viewers are rooting for the Ruddy. It's obvious when you have those names, you have some expectations as well. And something didn't went accordingly to the plan. Or maybe Bulldogs just had an epiphany. They were like, okay, tiebreaker. We can't do this anymore. We have Kasing. Kasing is always on at least on semifinals, so we gotta use Kasing powered. I'm down, Duckling. You got this. You got this.
Yeah. I've
Right,
I've regained my senses, right? But I think
You
the point definitely stands. Yeah, I definitely lost it that one a little bit, as my analysis was impossible to disprove, but also very hard to get a grasp of exactly what I was saying. The main point though stands is the expectations coming into the second game has certainly changed. I think Bulldog, I don't want to point them out as favorites, but I'll more go back to say this was a 50-50, because this wasn't just Ruddy not playing up to their level. It was also Bulldog stepping up. Just like we saw they did in the tiebreakers last week, this team needed a bit of time to get going, but once they found their footing, they very clearly seem capable. They have some good players, not just in their bot lane, but across the map as well. And more importantly, the communication and team play seems to be more on point, which is something that, especially this early on into a split, is so hard to nail down. And that's what really has impressed me about them so far.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say when we look at where they were in week 1 as well, like this team was a complete flop. I took a bit of heat from the Bulldog faithful for saying that from week 1. I stand by it. You guys sucked. You were terrible in week 1. You weren't good. But since then, it's been quality. It has been quality, and this is more of what I wanted to see, and this is what I expected from Bulldog as well. Like with some of the names that we've got there, especially obviously we mentioned Kasing, and I think it's just such a great like juxtaposition and a perfect match, like the yin and yang of bot lane. Kasing, 60 years old, been playing in League of Legends since its inception. Exafang still in his nappies. You know, he's come through. Like, it's just the complete polar opposites here, and it makes for the perfect bot lane duo, and they have been stellar so far.
You know what? We have a lot of comms release, and I would love to get like the comm release coming in from Bulldogs to see that bot lane. You know. Hey, Grandpa, should I engage your son? Go in. Like that would be. I think that would be the best way to look into the bot line. I'm gonna be killed by Kasing. But with this in mind, obviously, I wanted to highlight that these champions are no longer allowed to be played. I do believe they played a big role. And one thing we're forgetting is that if you bring this sort of experience into the Rift, be ready to adapt. We talked about it for Los Ratones, for North. I think the shame should be applied for the Ruddy Sack. And who knows what's going to happen on this one. Will this be a 2-1 for Ruddy Sack, or will Bulldogs be able to just clean sweep this one and move on the upper bracket, sending Ruddy to the lower bracket? That would be something.
Would be very special.
Out. Tell me, Declan.
That's my main point of conversation coming into this draft here, because 2 AD carries already banned, you know, from the Fearless draft. Then look at the bans already, right? You expected Draven to be banned here as well. That's all of a sudden 5 AD carries gone, and if you know, then what is left in the meta? Well, maybe the Misfortune still has a space. You do have the Ashe as well, but I'm excited to see where they end up, because Exofeng ended up being really useful last game. Hums didn't really have much to say because this Lethality Varus didn't work out. So with the AD carry pool already just after 1 game of Hardcore Fearless being this trimmed out, I'm intrigued to see how they end up prioritizing their draft.
Something that's worth keeping your eyes on here, a bit of a curveball that Bulldog have thrown, is the Jinx. That has been locked in. It's actually Xfang's most played champion down bot, which sounds kind of sus. But it has been something, and I think in the concept of a fearless draft, it's invaluable to have those kind of champions to just pull out of your pocket. So with these bans coming through here, and obviously as you can see at the top of the screen above our heads here, these are the champions that were picked last time around, and they are hard knocked out as well. So if one team picks them, neither team can pick them again. So this leads to a Jace first pick here for Mietic. You would imagine he would take that one in top side as well, and those are some very quick responses here with Ambessa and Zyra.
Yeah, slammed down, right? I would expect actually the Zyra to go jungle in this case, especially because then you have the AP-AD duo if jungle mid or jungle top, depending on where this Ambessa goes. Some flexibility in there as well. I think one thing I would like to see for Ruddy's is perks on a champion with more agency. The Cassante, really invisible, failed to have impact, and then when it came to the team fights, it was simply too late. This Nocturne could indicate that there could also be an Orianna coming here to slam out this final rotation. Otherwise, it will likely be banned coming into that. But no, I mean, maybe there are other options out there. Nocturne good at creating chaos, and obviously someone like Aurora has a bit of stealth as well. Could jump in while darkness is high and really come in from a flank, few people expect. But many good options to pair with it. They decide for the Aurora, keeping the flex open as well, actually, between mid and top in terms of who plays the Jace, who plays the Aurora.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I was talking about Yone in the last draft, right? And it's a leader champion for sure. You've got your AP jungler sorted alongside it, assuming that Zyra is going to go in the jungle, which I think is a fair anticipation. Yeah, like there it is, right? You've got a lot of damage, a lot of dive forward, a lot of AoE. Now, to pair alongside someone like Yone, you really want more dive, right? You want more committal, like specifically from the support. Maybe we might even see something like a Kai'Sa come through as well. You really want a dogpile when you've got Yone, else he jumps in by himself and then has to snap back out again. So yeah, we want to now kind of like just enable what we've got some very strong solo laners here and a strong top side. So let's see, you know, that's what's coming through here from Ruddy, right? They want to make that their strong side of the map.
You know what I want? I want an Elise. An Elise support has been playing non-stop and it brings so much. I think with this dive, getting another one that can go in and get the turret aggro out with an additional early game pressure, oh, that would be the cherry on the top of the cake. Let's see if we're going to get that one. Meanwhile, darkness is all around, but those engage on supports are out as well. Poppy and Alistar, we're trying to take a hit on the AD carry pool. Misfortune is out, Kalista as well, the Draven, the Corki. All those options are disappearing, so will you default for that Jinx?
Yeah, I think that's an option that was in my head as well. The Ashe, an opportunity. I mean, there are certainly still things you could go, but you get more and more
Ashe
down
Braum.
the priority list, right? Yeah, the Ashe Braum could be an opportunity. There are things you can still go that have seen their space in the meta. I know we're watching a few of Ruddy, Scrim, Hums, also someone who plays the Jinx, as you mentioned, right? So could definitely pull that out. But the thing is, you're no longer at these top of the table AD carries in terms of meta. Yes, Ashe, somewhat strong, obviously there's a lot of utility, but it's rarely the Ashe who ends up carrying the game, which to me is the biggest question, because Exofeng is one of the main carries on this roster, right? And I mean, they go for the Kai'Sa instead. Okay. So that opens up a whole new can of worms. And see, this is what I like about Fearless, right? You know, the AD carries that are being hovered, not some we have seen so far that this much in the NLC, but with Fearless coming into effect, we are seeing the champion pool shift. And I mean, the Jinx carries would be exciting. Exofeng certainly able to take over games on Jinx. They play a few of them in the seeding stage, but that was when Bulldog hadn't really found their footing.
Where's the front line now to pair it with this? Because
Yeah.
give me flash.
You need something. So I would dislike an enchanter pick here, because Bulldog have done this before with Kasing.
I mean,
yeah, I think you want to take something that enables, but can also put a bit of a front line down as well from this bot side. So yeah, I mean, this is fine too. Like, this is fine. Like, the reason I bring that up is simply because like we saw there was like a very good protect the Jinx comp, but no front line. Like, it was like Lulu plus Jinx, and it just did not work. So their tankiest member was a Maokai who beat Leandri. So I'm glad that Bulldog have actually gone for something that does go a little bit more tanky and it can create some more space for Jinx. On the backside though, Hustlin has locked in, I think, that Maokai, and that's not going to be a swap for the Zyra, because no, I mean, I don't know, actually. This could be Zyra's support, to be fair. Like, Maokai plus Yone plus Ambessa, like, that's insane. Like, that's really good, you know, like, lockdown, like a great kind of solo plus jungle combo. I see value in both of these right here, and the push from bot side with Kai'Sa Zyra would be kind of scary too. So yeah, but I think it's a well-rounded team comp, a lot of jump forward from Ruddy, which is what they want, and a lot of space being created for Jinx on the side of Bulldog, which is what they want.
Well, the teams are ready to take on the second game, which could be decisive in favor of Bulldogs, or maybe the comeback coming in from Ruddy Sack. I want fast predictions, really fast. Duckling, tell me a name. Tell me a name.
oh, you're putting me on
Give
a
me a
pressure.
name.
I think the draft is even. I'm gonna stick with Ruddy Sack. I think more agency to the top side is enough.
Just a name. Fox, give me a name.
Sarah.
There you go, that's a name. Keep in mind that Unending Despair is back available, so that chest is going to be... But without further ado, take it away, casters! I'll see you soon.
Here we are in the game already. I agree with Foxdrop. I think Sarah's going to win this game. Bulldog.
He did
already
ask for a
five-manning.
name.
He did, yeah. I mean, that's on Archer. Archer should have listened. Well, Archer should have defined what he was saying longer. Although, to be fair, I'll give it to Archer. Duckling was asked for one name, and Duckling said about 18 words. So they were stretched. They were stressed. It's all Duckling's fault. Everyone blame Duckling. Hashtag blame Duckling.
Sarah is only 2 syllables, so it's like pretty easy, quick.
Yeah.
You gain some time as well. All good.
I mean, both Ruddy and Bulldog are both 2 syllables as well, to be fair. But that's by the by. Let's have a look at the game, see what everyone is up to. Looks like we're going to have pretty standard gameplay this time. No lane swap shenanigans either way around. So, Trouble, we've had our fun. Let's talk about this game. What are we expecting? How does this game play out? Or what are we at least expecting this game's game plan to play out?
Well, it feels like it's going to be extremely bloodthirsty. On one hand, you have from Bulldog a level 6 farm heavy champion that the second he hits 6, he wants to dive in and start creating some chaos on the Rift, and that's Nocturne, of course. On the other side from Ruddy, Perks is doing the mid lane top lane special. He's playing Silas and Cassante in one. This is his kind of champion, playing Ambessa over in the top lane. But also, look how all-in heavy is the Ruddy side composition. Every single champion has a way of getting into the backline, possibly apart from Zyra. But Zyra can create space for them. Kasing!
Oh my word, Kasing with the flash forward forces Humza to flashes in return, as Perks actually getting absolutely bodied by Miatek here in the top side. Leader also going low. Bulldog starting off with some pretty strong lane.
I mean, the thing here is you're playing double melee into double range composition. So your mid-top are never going to have priority, especially in the early game. And then over in the bot lane, Kasing made a fantastic play to actually allow them to have priority through that early phase of the game as well. The most important thing when you are playing with a Nocturne is to allow him to farm to that level 6 as safely as possible. And Zyra is one of those champions that is such a big nuisance, extremely fast at clearing and very good at invading because you're going to be falling behind and she can invade you before you finish your jungle clear. So great stuff right there from Bulldog, every single lane with priority to allow Lulash to farm for free.
Well, looks like Cayman gonna find himself getting jumped onto. Does go invisible briefly. Leader's keeping the pressure up. I swear down, that ability on Yone lasts way too long.
Yeah.
I tilt every time I see a Yone in professional play because that champion is just ridiculous. Anyway, back to the game. Looks like Kasing just doing a little bit of a sapling clearing more than anything right now. I do want to kind of rewind just quite a lot because actually when I was asking for you the sum up on the teams, I may have to hold that. No, don't worry. Okay, so when you were talking about the teams, one of the things you mentioned was that Ruddy have so much forward. They have so much access to Exofang. If Bulldog can successfully protect Exofang in a fight, this guy will take over fights. We saw what he did on the Ezreal last game on a hyper carry on the Jinx. Like, if he gets the gold and the resources and they're able to peel for him versus the constant aggression of the Ruddy comp, I have so much faith in Exofang from what I've seen from him for the last couple of days. Same with Cayman as well, actually. 2 players who have really sold me on their performance over the last couple of days. It's cheeky little trade there. Leader trying to play interrupt on the reset.
Actually, I was thinking about the whole draft situation. I might have to hold it right here because Jankos is visiting bot side. He's going to get spotted now on the ward.
Oh, Hustling flashes in. It's going to be Exofang not getting targeted, so Kasing tries to bail himself out. First blood over to Humza. Now
top lane.
Miatek is finding the damage on the Perks. He flashes, misses the shot blast, gets the move speed off. Perks survives.
Silas, Cassante, if they had a baby, it would be Ambessa. And one of those champions that you can't necessarily really pin down very easily. However, great punish in the bot lane from Jankos. Gets into the tri-bush. Remember, Kasing committed his flash to get that priority early on in the lane. So they ended up getting towards the bot side of the map and punishing Kasing for the lack of summoner.
The main thing for me right now is Humza. His name's so hard to say. The Kaisers.
No, mate. You're just English.
Yeah, well, that as well. Yeah, that as well. I don't even know. I might have been saying it wrong the whole time. I am famously bad with with names that are very easy for an English person to say.
Like
but yes,
George.
yeah, no, George is an English name. I can say that one.
Yeah.
You know, Gorge. Good old Gorge. Anyway, let's see the replay.
I mean, it's very simple. Kasing gets caught a little bit too far up the lane and very easy from hustling. The twisted advance right there. No flash for Kasing, ends up being punished.
Alrighty, well,
Continue, George.
Humza still has no flash. If Lulish can hit that level 6 fast enough, there is a potential to go for a punish on the bottom side, or currently the top side. Fight for Grubs is already breaking out. Lulish able to secure the first grub for his team, and looks like the collapse is there from Bulldog, so they should be able to do this uncontested. Grub number 2 goes down. Can they get this third one? Yankos is looking to be sneaky, but the smite comes in. No level 6 for Lulish yet, but Leader could be pretty exposed down here. Does still have that flash though. Actually, it looks like there was a collapse onto that Scuttle Crab, so Lulish not going to get that.
That was very, very clean from Bulldog. Again, in, take the objective, bail out. Very, very nice from them. Now, if they can keep their bot lane over in the mid, push in that wave and take some control of the both side of the map, that means they might be actually able to contest even for the Dragon. And this is something that Zyra really shines on, right? Taking neutral objectives is very fast. The plants really help as well. So once you start up the neutral objectives, they go down really, really quickly. And also you go double AD carry with Leader on the Yone and the Kai'Sa as well. But right here, Bulldog, incredible stuff in the early game. Early game is not something that we've said about them that has been really good so far into the NLC. But I feel like particularly in this game, it's been very calculated how they're swapping their champions around the map and how they're swapping their lanes and contesting the neutral objectives.
And the main thing about playing that Zyra is you want to set up on the objective. If you don't get time to get your plants down, then the objective is significantly harder to take. So that is really the game plan on that front. But looks like this time around, they have been able to move in. Ruddy Saka put some wards down. They got some information in the area. Not too much, mind you, as their support is currently heading towards the mid lane. But with that level 6 now hit, Miatek is able to make an escape, but Lulish has the paranoia available to him.
That is huge. Taking Zyra ult that early means you can actually fight for the Dragon if you want to. Now, of course...
Humza being hit, has to flash away from the Between Worlds there from Cayman. They're able to get a whole heap of damage in. And that's the flash now burnt on that Kai'Sa once again. The opportunity to go for that pick with Lulish is there for the side of Bulldog, and it looks like he is hovering about, seeing if an opportunity's there. It's just going to make sure for now he's able to clear the waters. Miatek is going low to Perks. I think Perks has got it. Easy pickup.
Solo kill coming in from Perks right there. Very much needed, honestly, for Ruddy. I feel like, you know, you don't necessarily want to lose your spark, and with how game 1 went, you definitely need those more ego kills, if you will. The 1v1s, the ones where you get to rub your abilities into your opponent's face. And Perks is also a very confident player as well. Getting that 1v1 pretty much solidifies how strong he will be in that laning phase. And again, a little bit of overextension right there from Miatek. The trade coming through, and Cassante, Silas, Ambessa, you tell me.
I mean, as soon as that ult hits, you are absolutely donezo there for Miatek. And I did have a quick look at the inventory. Oh no, it could still be Unending Despair. For a brief second, I thought that Doran's sword was a longsword, and I was like, is he going AD? Which would have been very bizarre. Leader just gonna avoid the handshake. Does eat a fair amount of damage. The big concern right now for the members of Ruddy Sack is Exofang. I think if Exofang gets the time, gets the gold, he is going to potentially be able to take over this game. And right now, equal to Humza, has got a farm lead over him though, so is doing a pretty good job on this Jinx. And once you get that first item and start stacking those wild arrows, you get incredibly scary. No one has contested the Dragon yet. I think both teams are waiting for a good opportunity to find that pick and then translate it into Dragon. Lulish having the paranoia, not throwing it down yet. Waiting for that perfect kill.
I'm actually very surprised. Usually you see, and how safely also Lulish got to that level 6. you'd expect with so many flashes missing around the map. Hams has been missing his flash, Jankos misses his flash as well. You'd expect something to happen on the map. However, here they're playing a very slow and steady game. As you mentioned, they've got the Jinx. The later this game goes, the better it will be for them, and that Jinx will pour so much more damage through these items. However, I would love to see them seize that
Looking for
opportunity.
leader.
Oh,
He gets caught by the ultimate.
the
It's
block!
going to flash away. Good block from Lulis, but Leader is able to put enough distance. Dragon will get traded out. You could see Lulis was fishing. That should be enough power, though, to translate into 6 grubs, unless Ruddy have a fight in them. Jankos, ultimate available to him, so he can look to come in and try and close off and make space in this fight.
if anything, you have to at least come and contest one of them, so not all 6 go through.
Yeah, well, there it is. Xafeng free firing away for the moment. Nobody has dove onto him. 1 grub has been secured here for the side of Bulldog. Meanwhile, Cayman finds a whole heap of damage onto Jankos. Jankos going incredibly low. Cayman flashes forwards, secures the kill onto Jankos. Hums goes down. Perks on the run. And that should just be the grubs. 5 already secured. Cayman will look to finish up this last one for his team. Bulldog, absolutely beautiful from them.
What an incredible timing right here for Bulldog to turn this around. Not only do they find key targets, but consistently, when they do fight around objectives and they know that their target is that objective clearly, their target has always been Jankos. And let's watch this one more time. Great stuff right here from Haslin. He creates an opening with the engage, leader on the flank, Perks right behind them, gets hit by the Renata ultimate, which actually saves Kasing right there, flash through the wall. And you think that this is actually a Ruddy suck win right here, but Jankos gets caught by Cayman on the side. Cayman even commits his flash forward to make sure that there's no smite available to steal the last grub. Not only do they have 6 void grubs with double split pushers with Aurora and Jace to take these towers down real quickly, but 2 out of 3 neutral objectives towards a feature strength +1 is kind of huge for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jankos making his way over. The next kill gives that stack over to one of the teams. But for Ruddy, they need to get a tower or 2 more jungle objectives before they can do anything. As Cayman just jumps into the invisibility to escape Jankos' E. No neutral objectives up yet. There is a tower that's quite low, and it's a 6 grub Jinx, so they're not going to overextend knowing that there's a potential dive onto them. And ultimately, this now just gives a bit of time over to Miatek to get topside sorted for himself, although Perks has made his way up. Both teams know how much is on the line. These feat of strengths are incredibly tied. It's 2 apiece on the charges, apart from that jungle objective where Ruddy are down 1.
I'm not gonna say I've been very impressed by how Bulldog turn around fights, because there's a lot of times where you can say, oh, a team knows how to team fight when they start their own team fights under their own terms, but it has been Ruddysack engaged in a lot of these fights, and it seems like Bulldog are peeling back as a unit and then re-engaging, Cayman finding those flanks, keeping Exofang alive, especially now that he has his Kraken Slayer as well. He has been excellent actually seeing that team progress through the NLC, coming through a 1-3 manner. Cayman
able to use the Between Worlds and break away. Hustlin's chasing in, though. Can they save their rabbit? Cayman goes down. And that is the stack over to Ruddysack. Now it's all about that first tower. If a team can secure that, they are going to be sitting so pretty with that boots upgrade. And 6 grubs onto Bulldog, remember. It is not beyond the world of possibilities. Xafeng may find himself getting caught out here. He does have the flash. He does have the cleanse. Just eats a chunk of HP. Shield from Kasing will keep him topped up. Lulish will protect this mid tower. As plates have fallen off, someone needs to go deal with Hums in the bot side.
It's going to be Exofang heading back down. You've got to start defending your towers, as you mentioned. Feats of strength right here is very important. And of course, giving the kill one away to Ruddy is going to make it that much more important to try and defend
your bot side.
Yeah, exactly. Your neutral objectives one and the tower. And there's a couple of towers that are hanging pretty low. So for Bulldog right here, I will say there's one thing that really confused me when we went into this game. I see a Nocturne. And usually Nocturne is used for 1 or 2 things. You see kind of the combination of Nocturne with the likes of Ornn, the likes of Kennen, like a big impact ultimates that will change a fight. Or heavy dive compositions, like possibly the Orianna wombo combo or an Akali that dives the backline with you. However, here, I feel like Ulash is a little bit of a switch. Like, this is literally his job. He turns the lights off, but I don't really think he has
I think Ruddy just loses tower.
Yeah. Ruddy's gonna lose the first tower right here, which means piece of strength.
That
Oh,
was
actually-
a massive mistake. Sorry, Bulldog. That was a pretty big mistake from Bulldog. They wanted to shift their bot lane up to secure the Rift Herald, but they left their bot lane completely exposed. Mirtek obviously wanted to hold his teleport for a fight for when the Herald spawns. And ultimately, I think they really messed up there. I feel like with that team, they had the power to push that bot lane tower with their bot lane and then look to secure the Herald off the back of that later. But I think they're more focused on the fights right now. Mirtek getting teleported onto. They're going to throw the Twisted Advance down. Mirtek is going to get himself in some danger here. Immediately, 3 members collapse. Mirtek is going to try his best to put some damage in. And I mean, he's relatively tanky. He chunks them. Ultimately, that will cost them, though. Dragon will go over to Jankos, but Herald should go over to Bulldog.
And great punish right here from Ruddy. First tower, feats of strength, grabbing a kill, and the second dragon of the game. It's going much better for them in terms of initial objectives than the first one. And I feel like they are actually playing through the setup with vision that they have. Look at the both quadrant is completely lit up in red wards. They actually have vision to make those plays, to have those BTPs to try and get a flank. Now Bulldog right here, they will grab the Rift Herald, as you mentioned, and they can very easily use that to break open a tower, such as that bot lane tower that's hanging on by a thread, or potentially even that mid lane tower. I feel like the most important thing is to have Exafang around. You need to start getting more items onto this Jinx.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned before, I kind of feel like the Nocturne right here just acts as a veil on top of the Jinx. We were talking before about the draft, and I was like, oh, Zaya would have been perfect, right? Because everyone can just dive forward and Zaya can fend for herself. But right here, Exafang playing one of his better champions, using that Nocturne pretty much as a concealment in those team fights.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen all that many attempts of a pick from Bulldog. They've actually been relatively tame early. Again, this probably just comes down to the fact that the Jinx wants items and wants to really start to come online. But it is definitely a more slow-tempo game. I think the Herald should go down mid lane just to open the map up for Bulldog. Because right now, I think they're quite pressed with that mid lane tower down. It's definitely shutting down their ability to do much as Mirtek getting jumped onto, gets hit by the ultimate. And I think his fate may have just been sealed off the back of that one. Hustlin is the one to secure the kill.
Excellent. So active on the map from the set of Ruddy. Are they going to be able to defend this mid lane tower? Perks is on his way. But the Ritual is going to do a lot of damage.
Look at all those grubs. I mean, they could have toyed with the idea of a second charge. I think it's probably best not to risk it, and Perks finding himself a kill in response. But tower goes down ultimately, and that opens the map up a little bit more for the side of Bulldog. Lulish still sitting on that ultimate, though, playing very tame with that.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little bit worried right here. I feel like in terms of late game and how much damage that Ruddy Sack composition can dish out is incredible. The scaling overall in this team is incredible. And now this tank chase is falling a little bit behind. It's double AD on both side lanes. Perks and Leader can split push respectively. And it's going to be a little bit difficult to try and deal with those side lanes from Ruddy Sack. Now, of course, you do have the Nocturne, which kind of makes the 2 versus 1 immediately, but we haven't necessarily seen much of that action. It feels like Lulash is more about hovering around mid lane, making sure that Exafang and Kasing are safe from being dived or engaged upon, rather than focusing towards punishing those side lanes.
Oh no. There's the lockdown. They find the ult on to Cayman. Cayman is going to look to break away. Does a whole heap of damage to Jankos in response. They're going to throw down the ultimate from the Nocturne, securing themselves the kill. Exafang from downtown with a rocket. The fear lands onto Perks. There's a teleport coming in as the team are going to close the gap. Hustlin made his way over to save the day, but it is a 1-for-1. Exafang does get some gold off it, though.
I just wish Bulldog Gaming, Bulldog Esports were just more ready for this place. Again, you're playing for side lanes. Nocturne is the perfect weapon to make a 1v1 into a 1 versus 2 in favor. And I feel like Cayman and Mirtek have been left on the sides kind of dropped. Again, Lulash is playing shield for Exafang, but you're playing the wrong champion if you just want to play shield for your AD carry. And right there, Cayman does so well surviving for so long. I feel like the Nocturne also have dropped it a little bit earlier to conceal Cayman, and then you dive in, but it's a little bit too late. You trade 1-for-1, but Ruddy got what they wanted.
I'm just about able to break away from that hostile takeover. It'll be back on off cooldown for the next major objective. She's spawning up fairly soon. Actually, Atakan's up. I forgot it comes up at 20 and not 21. So that's actually pretty big, but that got blown down pretty early. Leader just going to try and be a bit of a nuisance here versus Cayman. Is able to dodge away. Cayman using the invisibility. But now you do have those wild arrows. You have the Kraken Slayer on Exofang. So that's a pretty capable Jinx, but Nocturne finally just comes back off cooldown. And that is one dead Nocturne. And that is going to be the Atakan secured. Oh, Mirtek flashes away, breaks away from the ultimate from Perks. And yeah, it looks like Bulldog's starting to struggle a little bit more in this game.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. A lot of the pieces in this composition don't make sense. And it feels like Ruddy, they've got pretty simple instructions. Seed champion, engage champion, kill champion. You outscale in terms of damage. Let's see if Bulldog can actually engage here and get a kill.
Jankos does find himself caught, but they're going to throw everything down onto Cayman. Cayman cannot survive for much longer. That's going to be the kill onto Atakan with the revives. This is pretty much over for the side of Bulldog. They just need to make an escape. Mirtek is doing his best to hold fast, but he goes down in the middle of all of that. Kasing slowed by the sapling. Hustling, chasing forward, hit by the zap from Exofeng, who's able to break away. They throw down the ultimate, and now they're actually engaging onto Jankos, who's forced to flash. I feel like he should have just given up his withdraw and save the flash for later, but ultimately wants to be on the map for this dragon.
Good stuff from Ruddy right here. They just literally group up as 5 members. They force the objective. They know they're 4 versus 5. And Bulldog, I'm not gonna lie, they just look like they're scrambling right here. They're trying to pick up the pieces. You see that a lot of their members are just going in one by one. And let's watch this one more time. Spotted throw not 1, but 2 wards right there from Lulash. He starts his blue buff. That's when Jankos and Hustling come in, and that is the first pick. Falling behind as a Nocturne is never fun because there's never good enough damage later on in the game to try and assassinate. I thought we were going to get the replay of Atakan, but the sentiment is that I feel like Bulldog are scrambling right now. They were going in one by one, and they just need like a proper team fight where they can just allow Exofang to put down some damage.
The problem is he's not getting any shutdowns. They've got the revive. Those will be falling off in a little bit. They're going to throw everything onto Perks, actually, and just look to try and take him out. Able to get the withdraw out of him, but ultimately that's 4 members and an ultimate committed. And bot lane tower is going to go down in the middle of this. There's going to be the rocket to try and somewhat trim the wave, but Hustling is there to block off any closer close-ins onto them. And yeah, Bulldog definitely left scratching their heads a little bit here. Now, you do start to have that Jinx who's slowly building up the items. Infinity Edge will be next on the shopping list here for Exofeng. And by the time that's finished up, these revives will have worn off. They've only got about a 6th left of their cooldown, so shutdowns will then again be available for Bulldog as they are looking for some damage onto Leader, who uses the face shield on the Cayman. The lights go out, and Lulush every time is just a little bit too slow on the button with the ultimate.
Oh no, another gain engaged the pawn under the tower.
Exofang, he's going to have to cleanse, and that should just be one dead top laner. They're trying to find the bailout. It's not going to happen. So not top laner. Lulush goes down. Mirtek will now make his way in. Leader's worth a shutdown, and the revive has worn off. So this is the best opportunity for Bulldog. They don't know where Leader is, though. That's going to be the turnaround here for Ruddy. Now opening up onto Perks. Exofang trying to keep the damage down on the Perks. Perks has no ultimate. It will be coming up fairly soon. The rocket comes through as they chase up onto Kasing. Kasing, no ultimate available. He's going down. Hums is able to secure the kill. And Bulldog, once again, falling victim to their game plan from game number 1.
Yeah, they walked into their jungle. They have absolutely no vision and no reason to be there. And Ruddy's like, they were just looking for an excuse to start another fight, right? When you have the Atakan buff and you can just have that GA and respawn instantly, you're looking for those fights. When you're having Atakan, you're usually looking for inhibitor towers, you're looking for inhibitors, you're looking for barons, you're looking for those big objectives. That's what this buff really gives you with the revive. They didn't necessarily get that. They just did get that botlane inhibitor tower, but that's about it. So I feel like for Ruddy, this wasn't the most successful Atakan, but I feel like Bulldog diving back in just kept giving them more and more tries into getting more value out of that buff. Right now, 8,000 gold in the lead for Ruddy, and the items are going to speak for themselves. Again, we said damage-wise. Oh, Kasing, you can't face check that Kasing.
He does have the ultimate, throws it out, doesn't hit onto anyone. The lights finally get turned out at the right time, and they're going to look for the turnaround. Stopwatch used. XFang trying to keep the damage up for the moment. There's going to be the shutdown given over to Miatek. They're able to secure another one. Cayman getting himself one more. Hums going low. XFang flashing forward. He's excited. Perks being chased onto. Bulldog, you can never count them out. They find that turnaround. Cayman incredibly low. Leader's going to chase forward. He goes in with a flash. He's shut down by Cayman. They lock down Perks as well. Bulldog with blinking health bars. Find the fight.
8,000 gold behind, being able to kill 4 members, almost acing Ruddy, is huge for Bulldog Esports. They made an 8,000 gold lead trimmed down to 6k, and XFang got to show off his teeth in this fight. Kasing had absolutely no business surviving this. Face checking into his own jungle. There's 3 members of Ruddy right there. Lights off. They just couldn't overcommit to kill Kasing, and this allowed XFang the time to put down the damage in this team fight, untouched the entire time. And that's what we've been looking for from the set of Bulldog Esports. A fight where XFang actually gets to DPS. You forfeited the entire game just so these Jinx can get to 2 to 3 items. And finally, we get to see some of that action. Some of these shutdowns were immensely huge.
Yeah, XFang getting some shutdowns has closed up that Infinity Edge. Big buy for him, but it's still a tall order. Yeah, that's probably it on the reset here. It's a very tall order, though, for the side of Bulldog. But a team who are just so good at team fighting. And it really came off. Lulu's pressed R at the right time that time. He turned the lights out when he was meant to, and that completely scrambled Ruddy, who are looking towards a Baron. I mean, if you look at the items, you got a pot on Hums, so he is looking for a very, very big fight. Teleport coming in as well. Infinity Edge finished up on XFang. This could be the game-deciding fight.
Let's see, it's still really difficult for Bulldog to actually gain any sort of relevant vision inside their own jungle. Neutral objectives spawning both right and left of the river, and they need to find a way to get that fight. Leader on the flank.
He's found it, but he's only got the onto 1, but it's going to be enough to get the damage down. Kasing bleeding out. He's going to throw an ultimate, only catching onto 2. 2 members of Bulldog have fallen. And Bulldog, I don't think they've got enough fight left in them. There is no Baron, so they can still defend for a bit longer. Leader's trying to chase forward onto Lulush. Going for the zap. Lulush spell shields. Doesn't quite actually hit. And they're going to be able to at least take an inhibitor off this. Can they push for more?
They absolutely can, I feel like here, but they don't have the wave
Good
for
rocket.
now. They need to turn around. Go towards that Baron.
Miatek's got teleport. Hustling's losing a fair amount of HP here. They got some damage onto the leader. Bulldog, there's so much gold just right in front of them. There's a carrot being dangled in front of them, but they're not able to translate it. Dragon is up. This is Ocean Soul for Ruddy.
They can catch them on the resets though, because right here they're missing a lot of crucial HP on their bars, which means you can either try to fight them at Baron or at least establish some vision towards the top side of the map. You don't allow them to reset. They haven't bought any items. They haven't bought any wards, and Bulldog Esports are basically threatening Baron.
Perks has no ultimate. They've pulled them over.
He got pulled back.
Ululus gets pulled in by the hands. Can they find the turnaround? There's going to be the ult from Hustling. Knocked back onto multiple members. XFang doesn't quite get hit. He's still alive. He's going low. He's got to find the kill, but he can't get it in time. Leader makes it work. A double kill onto his Yone. Hums takes another one. Bulldog have 2. Perks jumps the wall. Finds Kasing. This should be the ace. This should be the game. Ruddy, game 1 was catastrophic for them, but they found their opening. They cooked up a comp, and Ruddy are going to push it to game number 3.
If you thought they were gonna go out with a 0-2, you are damn wrong. All in forward composition, and they're taking us to the next and final game of the day.
Absolutely amazing performance there. 7-20 for Ruddy. They were 11,000 gold up in that game. A monstrous performance for them, and I mean, when Perks turns his mic on, they actually play better. Like, a little behind the scenes there, Perks was muted for most of game 1, so that probably tells you a lot about what happened over for them. But Bulldog still showing teeth. This is a team who are capable of making an 8,000 gold lead look more like a 2 to 3,000 gold lead. Like, these guys are impeccable at team fighting. Kasing, not an engaged champion, though. I think that was probably the key to victory in game 1. Game 2, it was that anti-dive champion.
I feel like, first of all, congrats to Perks. He had an incredible game on this Ambessa. Absolutely unkillable. 5-0 and 6. Incredible stuff. Solo kills here and there for him. Secondly, I got so confused by the composition from Bulldog.
Yeah.
They had a Jinx, which they wanted to feed and forfeit their entire early game 4. Then why are you picking Nocturne? Why are you picking Aurora? Why are you picking champions that don't necessarily provide anything to the Jinx? You've got a J-Stop as well. Let's say fine. J-Stop is whatever, like a very prominent pick. You can build tank, you can just provide some frontline fare. But I feel like the Aurora and Nocturne combo kind of confused me. I felt like this was going to be more of a let's poke with Jason, dive in with Aurora Nocturne kind of composition. That's why the Xayah was in my head. But I got so confused by what that combo wanted to do, and it felt like they were confused too on the Rift.
Well, good news. They can't pick it again. We are on Fearless. We're going to throw ourselves back over to the death, though, to round that game up.
Looks like Ruddy's back on the menu. They're back in the game. They brought in all they needed. Also, Mike Diff. I don't know. Maybe that's the reality of it. Bulldogs. Oof. The dog didn't bark this much on this one. And maybe Don J can appear again on social media now that we won this one. So yeah, let's see what happens. Because you know Fox. You know the way he communicated on the interview before on the Red Bull event, you know. You know he's getting calls from Dominate like, hey, you talk big. Where's the team?
Yeah.
But with this in mind. Tell me.
I was just gonna say we were talking about big teams, bro. We got Perks, we got Yankos. Like that's pretty big, you know. And I did think they've underperformed up until this point. And in game 1, I was like, like this is the danger zone, right? Because then not only did they lose game 1, but it was a pretty sad way to lose, right? They just did not look good at all. But this game, best game I've seen from them so far this year. Yeah. Best game. Like it was clean, it was methodical. They gave like no quarter to Bulldog at all. And it's crazy, actually, that a team can put on this performance considering what we saw from game 1, right? This is how it all began here, like Huston getting involved in the Maokai. Like this wide engage, and you can just see the collapse that Ruddy had as a team, the way that they're able to execute and make plays going forward here. It was actually like super impressive stuff. And obviously once they got the lead in that early, they never looked back.
Yeah, Bulldog didn't go down without a fight, as we see in this replay here, right? Being able to take some fights, and they still had life in them, but it was very clear that Ruddy Sack stepped up. One of the things I really liked this game was the fact, as I mentioned in draft, we saw Perks on more agency, right? This Ambessa, very huge, and the fact that, you know, they utilized the fact that they had a top laner who would also play mid lane, so they had this extra flexibility option because very likely, if the champion works top lane as well, Perks can just put it up there so easily. So I thought that was a clear strength with when both leader and Perks are on carry champions and they're shining. That's a double carry threat, man, that is really hard to deal with. And then you have an AD carry in Hamza on top of it, right? Who can just add the final blow if needed. So yeah, this really showed to their strength. I'm excited for next draft. So many strong champions now out of the pool with this hardcore Fearless as we see the second fight. This was the one where the writing really came on the wall, right? This one when it all faltered. This is some questionable decision making from Bulldog and great advantage from Ruddy Sack. Desperation is, I think we often see around Artica with teams so unwilling to give it up, but often realizing that it's hard to contest. So, I mean, Cayman goes in one man, and obviously nice turn from Ruddy Sack and him. Look at Miatek here as well. Walks up, just auto perks a few times, and then dies for his sins. This was like confusing few minutes here from Bulldog, and Ruddy Sack took full advantage of it. And from this point forward, the game was nearly unplayable for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I don't know if lemmings are a breed of dog, but one by one, they just threw themselves off the edge in that fight. And it's what you said there, Arklin. Like, it's the desperation because of Atakan. Yeah. Right? Your jungler gets picked right outside that objective, came in, TP's in, and that was... He sprinted that play, and then Miatek sprinted it from the other side. It was just not, you could kind of see the disjointedness of what was happening with Bulldog that game. And I think at that point, you kind of just think mentally, all right, we'll give it our best shot. But I think we're kind of looking for game 3 here. And this
man.
was another desperate play, right, around the Baron, but Ruddy were just having none of it at all. Like, they were so far ahead at this point. They've got the Dragon Soul. Credit to Bulldog for trying things, to try and make it happen, to get back into it. But Ruddy just did not give Bulldog the opportunity to get back into it. And that was a criticism, right, that I had from game one. Remember that Asakan play that Bulldog executed well. It was the macro of Ruddy was a little bit but this time around, Ruddy just didn't make many mistakes at all, and they punished Bulldog heavily.
And all the keynote speakers on this team also showed up. The way we were seeing leader play, it's not the same. It's not the same. We talked about it, Fox. There were a few plays where they were chasing Ruddy like, oh, they might take something out of this. Leader would use his Z like, what's up? Like, no, you're good, bro. You move on. Like, it's a different state of mind, a different state of team. This is what we expected from Ruddy from game one. But also, Bulldogs didn't provide as much as game one. I think it was a massive build-up and adaptation that we need to highlight as much as possible, because these players with that sort of amount of experience, they know how to adapt. But also Bulldogs not meeting the expectations they brought in game one.
I mean,
so one rises, the other one goes down. Boo.
Yeah, but I think there's an argument to be made there that did Bulldog step down? Yeah, I think this draft was harder to execute for them, right? As Trouble also touched upon, in terms of you really want to play around Exofeng. He's to me the biggest and most consistent carry on this team, and Ezreal here would have been perfect, right? But what happened? Well, Fearless draft, it couldn't be picked again, and all of a sudden you're left on a Jinx with, as Trouble said, no real cover to provide for it. Yes, you have the Renata W, but maybe something like the Braum would have given more defense, but that wouldn't have been enough. And when your team gets split this far in the team fights because half of your team wants to go forward, the other half of the team, or the Renata, wants to try and play for the very immobile Jinx, and they have an Ambessa and a Yone flying towards your AD carry every fight.
Yeah.
It becomes near impossible to play, and you have to reach an elite level macro to pull that off. And yeah, they simply couldn't get it done. So they set their own bar higher, and they couldn't quite reach that bar, and that's why they faltered, in my opinion.
I think it's a good point as well. Jinx is hard. Jinx is hard to execute. Jinx comps are hard to execute, especially against all that dive that we saw from Ruddy. And a lot of it comes down to, I feel like, the solo laners from Bulldog needed to create more space. Jace wanted to be, that really annoying Jace, whatever, that just goes in the middle of team fights and, whatever, tank Jace.
Survives.
Yeah, exactly. And unending despairs everything. And then Cayman on the Aurora as well. When you create that zone and you jump in, that's more space created, right? And then Jinx is in the backside, and she comes forward and is able to do her bits. But she was just... like, the solo laners from Bulldog were just not it today. Like, in this game, Perks played great, Leader played great, and as such, when you're behind from those solo laners, like, what else do you have? Nocturne's not creating any space, he's not frontlining, and then, exactly as you guys were saying, you can't execute that Jinx comp anymore. And, like, look at that goal graph. Like, Ruddy just decided, we reached that 15-minute mark, and it went crazy, and a well-deserved win here in game two. Nice bounce back.
And the nicest thing for this, in my book about this, is we get a game three now. This is the first time we get to see this hardcore Fearless in a game three. That means 20 champions banned, plus the 5 that they did. That's more than 5, but some of the champs they ban as well, right? It's 5 each team, 10, it's 30 champs all of a sudden gone. And in particular, I'm thinking about the AD carry pool, because I'm putting so much pressure here on, which might be a bit unfair, on the 17-year-old rookie on Bulldog to be the main carry, but with the amount of AD carries that are likely to be banned, and the ones that are now, removed from Fearless Draft, I'm very intrigued to see what Bulldog do to play a composition around him and what they decide. I mean, maybe you could go for the cock roll, play around, feed the puppy come like Uzi or whatever, but you'll have to do something different here, and I'm not sure what it's going to be, and that's all thanks to Fearless Draft making this more exciting.
That's what I wanted to debate as soon as we were getting close to game 3, but might as well talk about it right now. You took the bunny out of the hat. So, Fearless Draft. Because I feel like Exofang took a blow on this one, because he couldn't get a proper AD carry, as he stated, like, no protection, yada yada. And now he doesn't have the Jinx. Now he doesn't have the Ezreal. And all those tools are disappearing. But you highlighted him. You were saying, he's a 17-year-old player, like, he's doing so good. Now you're like, his champion pool is kind of, it's kind of dim. We gotta hit the mark, and all those things are going to be hit by experienced coaches. So as you go into the third one, and you know Yamata Ken is not going to pull punch on this one, he wants to go through. These players from Bulldogs might just be on the pinch right now because they have nothing to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but it might also be a bit of a growth.
It's a 50-50
overstatement.
again.
No, I don't want to initially say that. I do think it's more to the fact that, in particular with the AD carry pool, how I view it at the very least at this moment, right? It is very much these utility AD carries, and that is not what Bulldog want, in my opinion. I think they need Ixofeng is best when he has agency, when he's able to be played around, and with the AD carry bench coming out, right? The Callista, the Draven, the Misfortune, Corki as well, someone who's very strong in this current meta. I mean, the only one really available in meta is the Ashe, and you're not going to be carrying on the Ashe. You'll be a utility AD carry, so either Bulldog has to change their playstyle, or they have to find a draft about something that isn't traditionally seen currently, but can work because they have a strong AD carry to play around. And that's what intrigues me about Fearless Draft.
Yeah.
So who knows? There's the Zeri, there are the champions as well. Do you know how to play them? Well, you gotta show us on the third and last game. This could be a 2-1 for Bulldogs that nobody predicted. Or this could be you and me, Fox, and then we can put to shame Duckling on the desk as we like to do on NLC. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody who's on that side. We love you very much. We'll just toss it to a quick break before we jump into the third and last champion select. I'll see you soon. Look at us. On the best of 3 CDs on week 3.
Mm.
Who could have thought about this? Who could have thought? Well, NLC did, and that's why this is so exciting. That's why everybody's out on that side watching this one. Ruddy versus Bulldogs. Do they have the dog they brought in on game 1? Or will Ruddy push back and fight back? Second game, beautiful, clean, nothing to point out. Bulldogs, though, they have to rise up again if they want to keep climbing the mountain, or if they're going to be tossed into the under part of the bracket, which means if you lose, I said this before, if you lose on the lower bracket, you're promoted to what, Duckling?
Spectator.
Exactly. That's a complicated sentence, by the way. Now, what about this one? We're running out of champions. This is only a best of 3, by the way. We're jumping into best of 5.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yo. But best of 3. How can you play as an AD carry if there's no AD carries?
Yeah, that's what I'm most curious to see solved in this next draft as well. So we lost Varus, Ez, Jinx, and Kai'Sa to the picks, right? Those are the fearless band champions. And then you have the standard bands coming through, which we've seen so far. Kalista, Draven, Misfortune will probably be in there as well. Yeah, Corki, exactly. Forgot about him. Corki's great. And then you've got what, Zeri's left over, Ashe is left over. Like we're going, I don't know, we're going deep into those pockets right here.
Way bot line. Go back.
I
to
think
AP.
that's the strategy. I think that's it. That's the strategy. Like we either I think use hard ban bot and just flip it down there. Honestly, like and hope that XFM wins via just the hands gap, right? Because he's a sick player. So it's gonna be tough and it's gonna be interesting to watch for sure.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to what they'll bring out. I want to see the adaptation. And that, I mean, normally the conversation, right, is when a team loses, what adaptation do you pull out? And it's like, oh, you have to ban something you just lost to. Everything is banned that you just either won or lost on. And for us as well, sitting here on the desk, we're going to have to do some mental gymnastics trying to remember all the champions banned and available. I remember seeing one clip of Caitlyn in a game 5 in Fearless Draft, struggling to remember what was banned. And these teams will be going through like kind of like filling out a crossword or Sudoku something, right?
But that's
really have
why
to
we
use
have
the mental
this.
space. Yeah, this helps make it all clear and easy for us to see. Luckily for us. But in that draft, man, they are working overtime. I have opened all the AD carry champions defined by Riot on my right screen here. So we can talk about the whole pool, because already, just look at the bans, right? That's the Kalista. Misfortune could come out as well. Corgi could be banned. Draven likely to fall as well. So yeah, I'm really just excited to see what the adaptation will be. That's one more
you
go.
go.
Right?
Good luck, XFang.
This is brutal.
Good luck.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think we're really gonna have to dig deep here, because that Brawl ban
Caitlyn,
also.
mate.
Yeah, Caitlyn. Yeah, exactly. We're proper going back here. Like, are we gonna get like a Twitch Lulu or something? Like solo Q terrors coming through, stealth combo. Twitch Yumi even. Wow. Nah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Ruddy Sack have the first pick of this game here as well, so they're gonna have the choice of the premier ADC. Because if we don't ban Draven here, for example, and then Bulldog feel like they have to ban it versus Hamza.
Again, man.
I honestly feel like Ruddy shouldn't be banning their own Draven. I know XFang.
Like, it is crazy. They have the first pick. They could lock it in if Bulldog doesn't ban it, but they respect Exofang, a 17-year-old rookie, so much. They still ban it when they themselves have a Draven 1-trick in AD carry. That honestly, mind-boggling.
Yeah, well, that's the strategy so far, and Leaders of Kali is going to be off here as well. So we actually have a fair few ADCs open. Now, Braum is kind of like an Ashe ban, kind of. But we still have a few choices here, like the Zeri is available as well, maybe like a Kog'Maw comp too. It is going to be that Rumble lock in, most likely towards top side. And we have noticed though, like statistically, Perks has been like a really solid top laner as far as like damage stats go for Ruddy Stack, and as far as the entire league goes, I'm fairly certain he's like the top damage share. Why not pick in like a semi-mage damage champion to go in that top side?
Yeah, the Wukong having made his way through the first 2 games, surprisingly strong in the meta, it makes sense to lock that in, right? In terms of AD carries, you could think of the Misfortune, but you'd like to see that later in the draft, and you want to see more about what your opponents have picked beforehand. So I doubt that if that's the AD carry they're hoping to play, that it will be locked in this first rotation. You could probably take a top laner here if you really feel like it, as like Sante's band, and then you have to try and think through the champion pool again, right? What would you want? Yeah, the Renekton hasn't been seen, but the Aatrox instead. Me and take a big Aatrox player, so not that surprising at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's already done this once before. Yeah, go ahead, Archer, mate.
Because you can go for the mid lane. I was looking, you have the Wukong available. You can get the Misfortune and the Orianna. You can try to play a wombo combo in favor of Bulldogs. But it's safe to play something else and be like, we'll save that for last if we have the availability. But keep in mind that AD carry champion pool is going to be hit. I think Hums will be more comfortable playing something of utility like than Bulldogs giving
Just go
something
MF,
of utility
yeah.
like.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's even worse.
And I like this,
it's
right?
simple.
Because it's such a strong AD carry. But the problem is, now all of a sudden there are 3 picks left to try and counter it and make it very hard to play. Because there is just that one problem. You have to be immobile while you're all right, and you don't have much movement outside of that. Normally I'd say something like the Ambassador. I've seen at the very least in the Danish scene having a lot of effect, but that is banned due to fearless draft, so maybe that's why they feel confident enough to lock it in. So many variables changing with the fearless draft and many things to keep in mind, but the Leona ultimate, right? That's one thing that can instantly just stop the MF ult. MF ult, pull down the solar flare, and it's done. So they got the strongest AD carry left in the meta, but now it will be drafted around for these last few bans. But I do expect Ruddy to try and pull out the other strong AD carries in this last ban rotation.
Yeah, you giga focus bot side here, no? Because Bulldogs haven't chosen their bot lane right now.
She knows. She knows.
Okay,
Are
so
you watching?
we're getting some behind
Outside
the scenes
sourcing.
thoughts here that Trouble is thinking this might be a Ziggs pickup then for Bulldogs here.
Something AD
as their
mid,
bot
yeah.
laner. Yeah, so Roddy Sack still think it might be, they're still getting rid of the actual AD choices. And to be honest, it makes sense. You're already pretty heavy on
You
the
have a lot
AD
of
side
AD,
of things.
yeah.
Mietic and and Lulush here with the AD top and mid. And yeah, again, you've got a lot of range, which is really good into someone like Misfortune, someone like Nautilus as well. You don't have to get too close, which is what Ruddy Sack want you to do, right? So that they can throw down all of that catch, all of that AoE damage as well. So pinching the jungle pool makes sense for Bulldog. You've got your Wukong. Let's put the ankles on something a little less comfortable. And yeah, it could just be that AD mid, like Cayman. We've seen them play. They saw it coming. They saw it coming. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this might just be like a Zeri then, right? Like, I feel like Zeri's a good alternative because she does a decent split damage profile. And Cayman, like, there's still like the Syndra available, right? Like, we've seen him play Syndra before. I think Syndra's fine here too. Yeah. So I think Victor's already taken, right? No, Victor's actually open, no?
Yeah, Victor's been open.
Yeah,
also.
Victor. This is weird, but Victor
those
is
nerfs
open.
definitely take the strength out of him. He still wins lanes just as comfortably, but taking 10% away from a few abilities certainly has hurt his scaling, right? So not as prominent anymore in the meta. I like this area. I think it has some movement as well, decent utility, but it isn't the perfect fit. But you have to do with what you have available, right? As Leader slams down that Azir and okay. This draft just opened up. I mean, Yanker's Light is still end up on some tank, but a lot of those utility junglers have been removed. Viego, Sejuani, and just look up to the front of your screen, right, in terms of the top. So many of those, but the Jarvan still left open and makes a lot of sense to lock that in.
Yeah, exactly. Cataclysm plus bullet time is a good combo as well there. We have seen Swain come down from Cayman in the past too. We've got a pretty close range jump forward type of comp. I don't know how if Cayman would want to lock that in versus an Azir. I mean, the biggest thing, like regardless of the comp itself, it's like, is this a champion that Leader's particularly comfortable on? Because I know obviously Leader has a reputation for being like a melee only player, like assassins, these kind of champions. And then whenever you say that, Leader fanboys always say, no, but he can play all these things, he just doesn't want to, blah, blah, blah. But then whenever he's picked the Azir, it honestly hasn't looked that good, right? So I'm probably going to get torched for even just saying that. The thing is, though, I do just have question marks about it. I don't think it's that, I don't think this is a leader at his best, which then means that you've got to transfer the carry role over to Perks or Hamza. And it seems like Ruddy Sack doesn't have the trust in Hamza as a carry, right? They picked him on the easy ADC. They ban away his best champion on blue side, in game 3 of a fearless draft. So I just I have some question marks about that.
Yeah. It's an intriguing draft.
Words.
What I will say is I think Yankos will struggle to find those right engages, right? So much movement on this Bulldog roster, so it's hard to really lock down the carry unless the team is on exactly the same page. But I think anything can happen in this final game. There are opportunities for both teams. The draft certainly turned out to be interesting. It's all down to execution. And that's what I like.
It's all down to one game. Whoever wins this one moves on with an extra life. The other one will be tossed to the lower bracket and fight for it. Without further ado, let's toss it to the game. Let's toss it to the casters, and I'll see you soon.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And here we are on the Rift for our final game of the day. The winner of this stays in the upper bracket. The loser has to go and fight for their spot towards that finals. It is really all or nothing. Bulldog have displayed incredible team fighting during this series. And Ruddy, game one looked rough, but they just completely out-macroed Bulldog in that last game.
I have so many questions, but before I start asking them, you see right here, Ruddy, they're setting down their vision, wanting to spot the Wukong early on. And also, if you look on the very right side of your screens, there is a very cheeky ward on the lane that will potentially spot any sort of lane swap shenanigans. Thank you so much, observers, for pulling that out there. It's not going to be the case. All the lanes are going to be pretty stock standard, as we know them in League of Legends. And here come my questions. Is Exofeng allergic to Xayah? Like, what is actually going on in this game? You usually don't want to pick the Zeri into the Nautilus. You want to pick the Nautilus into the Zeri so you can pin her down and have follow-up, which now makes Exofeng's positioning very, very crucial when it comes to those team fights. And secondly, who in the world is going to get locked into this Cataclysm? Everyone's got a bail button.
I feel like the Jarvan pick was definitely a little bit questionable. We'll see how Jankos can play with it. But yeah, there are so many ways out of that ultimate that it's going to have to be very well timed from Jankos to be able to find that lockdown. See already, though, Ruddy Tack, their bot lane have the advantage here in this bot side. They've got the shove, they've got the lane pressure. Next thing, kind of just have to give up the lane. Cayman's going to do a little bit of scouting onto Jankos to spot exactly where he is. Or getting the Q off onto leader in the middle of all of that. But I will say, as my little retort to you about Exofang and positioning, the one thing I've seen from Exofang throughout all of the day, and from what we saw from during the final, the tiebreakers from the group stage, this guy is really good at positioning. So
yeah,
I know if there's any ADC who's going to play a hard matchup like this and position well for it, it is this 17-year-old superstar. He has played so well today. Even in that loss, he looked pretty formidable on the Jinx, and now on the Zeri, definitely got a hard position to play, but if he can toe that line well, he could potentially be that difference maker for his team.
Absolutely, and I feel like for Bulldog here, all of their champions have so much agency. They can all flank, they can all find targets, they can all 1v1. -1 right there for Cayman as well on the Cayman minion. But they all have the agency to sort of create angles and opportunities in these fights. And I feel like specifically for Cayman, the way we saw him play on that Aurora and find angles, where he was constantly finding Jankos, and over in game number 1 as well, I feel like there is a lot of opening, especially with Ari, as we see bot lane.
Things getting locked down. Xfang lost a lot of HP there.
Oh, what's mid? What's mid?
But mid, they're both looking for an angle here. Jankos and Lulis. Lulis is going to open up with the Jankos, force the flag and drag defensively. Came in incredibly low. Leader also low on mana, though. I think the kill potential here mid is not likely. So Leader just going to make sure he catches his wave. Cayman can just teleport back up. Mirtek, on this Aatrox versus Rumble matchup, feeling the pain early.
I wonder where Lulash is going actually right here. Is he looking to punish Perks early on? Perks seems to be really sticking underneath this tower, trying to push out his wave. Getting caught by the chains right there.
Yeah, they're able to pull him in. Mirtek has that last charge of the Q. A bunch of damage coming out from Lulash. Forces the flash on from Perks. Mirtek, lovely Infernal Chains actually onto Perks, forcing that Summoner spell out of his lane opponent.
Great little punish there. Look at those resets down the bot lane. Absolutely. Look at those resets down the bot lane. Exofang and Kasing are late. Kasing is already on the top side of the map, which nothing really is happening. The Scuttlecrab has been taken away. Jankos is pinging that bot lane Scuttlecrab, and he's going to get the first roam from both bot laners towards the bot side river, so he could secure double Scuttle right here. Pretty huge for Javan as well, because you want to be skirmishing early with that J4. Later on, he's going to lose a lot of his value due to all the mobility on the side of Bulldog. So getting this double Scuttle, getting to that level 6 first, could be huge for Ruddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice little ward there placed by Hustlin earlier just to get some scouting vision onto where Lulis is. So, feeling happy on that. Both of the supports actually kind of playing away from their ADC, so the ADCs can soak up as much experience or solo experience as they can. Jankos going for a chicken camp steal here. I mean, Cayman saw him go in, so they're going to maybe look to go for the contest. Smite's available to Jankos. Lulis has only just got his up, but chickens have been stopped. So Lulis, I mean, there's still a smite on Jankos. There's the charm. Not going to be able to go for the steal, and the charm down Jankos is definitely not under any threat at that point. Sing's just going to make sure that Cayman gets as much of this wave as possible.
You should look at the map during this iteration of events. Instantly, Miatek dipped into jungle, posing a threat right there to Jankos overextending. Kasing instantly roamed from the bot lane towards that mid lane for a potential fight. It seems like both of these teams are like so hyper aware of every movement on the map. That's why Jankos backed off of there. Also, with Cayman constantly defending the Wukong around the map, it was leader to hit that level 6 first and could potentially make a play on these raids. But the backed off is going to be the priority that they needed. They'll take the first 3 Void Grubs off the game. Feature strength, 1 out of 3, off 1 out of 3. And also 3 Void Grubs are going to be extremely important for later on taking down those towers.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice for them off the back of that one. And that actually kind of bleeds into that invade we saw onto the Raptor camp, because Lulish had to smite it to make sure that he was able to pick that camp up, which then meant he was down a smite. His mid lane was shoved in, so there was no way to contest it. Just a little bit of heads-up play from Jankos, where it didn't look like he gained anything from the time he wasted at chicken camp, but forcing the smite out, all but guaranteed that he was going to be able to pick those grubs up. Leader should be able to get a plate as well off the back of that as well with that grub bonus, so that should just ting over. There it is, into his pocket. Leader sitting quite happy off the back of that.
Let's see if Jankos is as crazy as Malrang. Because this particular pick right here is a Malrang Jarvan. It doesn't necessarily do anything in terms of team fighting, but you pick it for the sake of the champion in the early game. He's a great fighter in the early game, especially when you go that standard Sky first, if that's what he's going for as well. However, Bulldog have started that Dragon. There are level 6s all across the board for the members of Radisak around there, but they're just going to be caught on the reset. First Dragon is going to go over to Bulldog, and it's going to be an exchange of neutral objectives.
Yeah, there's no real room for them to go for the contest. Nice little shove in from Bulldog on the bot side. I mean, there wasn't really the pressure for that. But looks like Jankos may be looking for his first gank of the game, but Lulish could definitely smell that a potential gank was coming in, so he just hovered about just to make sure that nothing was going to go down. Lulish level 6. Flash is up on leader. Cayman has his ultimate though, so the follow potential is there. Lulish going to chase out forwards here. It's going to come in. They're going to land that charm in on to leader, who gets the shuffle back. Can they continue the chase forward? It looks like the answer is no, although Kasing is here. No ultimate available to Kasing, so Cayman just jumps in for one last Q onto leader to chunk him out a little bit more. But ultimately, play very nice there from leader, just to ult the 2 of them back. Oh, leader flashes. Actually, they're going to put some damage into Cayman, forcing Cayman to flash.
That pressure, the flash away from the taunt, but then if there's no E on Ari, that means you've got kill pressure because you can dodge the Q. That's exactly what the leader did right there. And also for Mulash, I wasn't actually expecting the EQ to go through, which allowed leader to pretty much just shove them away with the ultimate and get out alive. Now, one of the extra things that happened right here with leader having that pressure mid is that you get to stay a little bit longer on the map and pressuring that mid lane wave, which then allows again in turn Jankos to walk inside enemy territory, inside enemy jungle, place down some vision, potentially find Lulash as well, and without the ultimate you can actually take a favorable trade. Wasn't the case, just establish some vision on the top quadrant of Lulash's jungle and back down.
You can tell how important this game is to both of these teams because they are playing incredibly passive. We are 9.5 minutes in. an objective trade happened. No kills have happened. There's been 1 or 2 attempts to take someone out. But ultimately, it has been a very, very tame start to the game. Mirtek has now picked up his Hex Drinker. So it does have a little bit of magic resist, a little bit of survivability versus perks.
Bit of extra padding.
Yeah, just something to soak up some of that rumble burn. Cayman just going around the jungle. Will be spotted out by that sweeper from Hustling, though. The Squire's Bloom, and Cayman just going to make his way back towards mid lane, who... Honestly, this Ahri definitely struggling in the matchup versus the Azir. The shove and the massive range deficit means that he's actually looking at a lane swap.
It was really funny because Cayman got spotted and then he just walked backwards for as long as the vision remained on him, and then he walked back towards that lane as well. A few mind games right there to see if enemy's gonna just fall for it and swap lanes. It is going to be leader heading towards that bot side of the map. Both mid laners do have teleports available. The second set of Void Grubs have spawned, and whoever has first mid lane prior gets deep into the river. In this case, it's going to be Ruddy. And the cat summon of a Bulldog is not going to be the case. A 2 versus 3. Because Hums has just arrived in that mid lane. And I'm starting to get worried right here, honestly, They're going to pull the TPs.
Yeah, well, Lulis, they're throwing everything onto him. Exafeng has actually gone untouched at the moment. Leader's made his way over. Solar Flare does make the connection. Cayman comes in. Massive charm onto Jankos as he goes down. First blood secured, but bullet time is going to be interrupted by Mirtek as they continue to fire onto Exafeng, who's still alive. But the Ignite and the Flame Spitter will secure the kill. Cayman can't get more. Hums is going down to Mirtek in the middle of all of this as now he's looking for perks. I mean, this is a very, very alive and very healthy Aatrox. Charm goes through the goalpost from Cayman. He does get some damage down to Leader, but those soldiers are doing work. Mirtek's put the damage into perks. Leader able to assassinate Cayman in the middle of this as the Infernal Chain secure the kill. Mirtek's killing. He gets another. This Aatrox is unstoppable. Trying to find the damage onto Leader, but Leader finds the turnaround. Jankos will get the shutdown. And Ruddy Sack almost ripped apart by an Aatrox.
We went from a 0-kill game to almost a 10-kill game within about 30 seconds. Kasing now stopping the bat.
Exafang's here. They're going to put the damage onto Leader. The shutdown goes to Kasing. It is the worst case scenario. Kasing will fall to Hums in the middle of this. No grubs going over. Monkey on the run as Perks hunts him down. They flag, they drag, but the monkey's out.
Wow. All of this started, as I was about to say, I'm getting extremely nervous because Jarvan is going to fall off really hard. And it's like Jankos heard me. It's like, all right, before we fall off, let's start a fight. Now, I want your eyes on Perks because he comes down from that top lane and he lands a beautiful equalizer straight on top of this pathway. Burns everyone away, splits them apart as well, and you see as Lulash and Cayman are literally fighting for their lives to defend Exafeng. Luckily for them, Mirtek is doing work on that Aatrox in the back line. Gets that kill, and then together with Cayman, they're gonna be able to grab another 2. And I thought that this was it, but then there was more that happened on the Rift. They lost more people. They lost Leader as well.
Exafeng goes down, but Bulldog, they're not done. Hums going low.
Wait,
double
what?
kill for Cayman. Grubs were secured for the side of Ruddy off the back of that one. Exafeng's alive. Okay, Exafeng got a kill. I thought he died.
No, 3 members of Ruddy Sack died on that one. I'd love to know what in the world just happened right there. They catch them while trying to engage inside the river to try and get some vision of what happened right here. However, 3, 1, and 2 on Cayman. 3 kills onto Aatrox as well.
Let's have a look.
Let's watch this one more time. Kasing walks up, tries to put some vision down, take the enemy vision away. They're trying to start setting up for the dragons, and the flash through from Hustling onto Exafeng. You know what? That Zeri is a very slippery gal. So if you can't connect instantly with her, you won't be able to kill her, and that's exactly what happened right there.
Oh, we're just not done with action. Bullet time coming in onto the MF. But looks like they're not going to be able to do too much more. These teams are so bloodthirsty. It was a very, very tame start to the game, but it just erupted as we moved in.
It's like Pandora's box. Once you keep it closed, it's fine. It's quiet. Once you open it, there's no way you're closing it ever again.
Yeah, well, this first tower could be the difference maker here. As Perk's going to lose a fair chunk of health to Mirtek, but Mirtek able to also rocket chunked himself. This first tower will be boots upgrade for Ruddy if they can get it. They've got 6 grubs, so they have the capability to take it. But for now, it's definitely playing a little bit more tame. Miatek's actually resetting, which is, again, something we saw in game number 2, where they were a little bit off on their reset timers, and that could cost them.
I don't
Perks
think
could get the
Perks
wave
here-
in.
I
Oh,
don't
he's
think
resetting,
Perks here
okay.
can actually afford to stay on that wave. You do not have vision onto the Wukong. The top corner of the jungle is full
He's staying.
of jungle as well. So Lulash could definitely be around. He's going to stay just to pressure out that wave, but definitely he cannot stay to take the actual tower right here, especially not with 40 seconds on the Rift Herald spawning really, really soon. You definitely want to go back, maybe refill some of these wards, grab a few components as well, set down some vision for that,
Jankos?
objective. Jankos is looking around, but there's 3 members of Bulldog there.
Lulish has found him. Solar Flare makes the connection. Can they land the Zenith Blade from Kasing? Slow doesn't come in from the Zeri. They're going to be able to break away from that one. There's going to be the equalizer laid down by Perks. Just a chunk onto Kasing and Lulish. I'm not sure I 100% agree with that one. Cayman losing a lot of health, though. Has got that ultimate. Can he hold? Gets the charm off. Teleport's coming in for Cayman. Can he break away? Caught with a knock-up. Instantly got followed up by the hook, and that's going to be the shutdown over to Hustling in the middle of that. Leader, low HP. Miatek puts some damage onto Hustling. They're able to get the kill. Good ult back from Leader, though. Will send the Bulldog members packing, but Jankos gets onto Exafang. Flashes out. Exafang is going to be able to hold his life. Tower low bot side, though. Can Ruddy fire out? Yes, they can. Hums is going to secure the feat of strength for his team. It came at a bit of a cost, but not too heavy. A 1-for-1. Unfortunately, Hustling got a 500 gold shutdown.
That was a very quick rotation right here by Ruddysack. They get the 4-man dive down the bot lane, but their sides were set on feats of strength, and that's exactly what they got. They got the kill, and while being chased away, they re-pushed that wave towards the bot side. They thought they sacrificed Jankos, but Jankos jailed that Zeri in and then bailed out with EQ. Came in underneath the tower all alone versus 4. Can't necessarily do much, even though Ari's as slippery as ever. Any champion. Exafang gonna get that kill here. And here, Jankos, very good. He's just gonna jail Exafang in, as he's already used his dash and just EQ himself out.
All right, well, the next fight is definitely going to be around this Herald as immediately Hustling gets onto Kasing, but Kasing going to force them to flash, actually. Hustling, burning that flash as Miatek made his way over. You got an incredibly scary Ari and an incredibly scary Aatrox on the side of Bulldog. These guys are pretty happy to fight at this point in the game. Now, Hums has both the cleanse and the flash with that bullet time available. Looks like Ruddysack want to go for the fight here. Solar Flare doesn't quite make the mark. Low health on everyone. Miatek finds Hustling, but there's going to be a fight. Big bullet time. Absolutely cooking the members, but Leader goes down in the middle of it. And now Miatek blast comes into the fight. Jankos is able to steal the Herald, but it costs him everything. They get the lockdown onto Hums. Can he make the breakaway? No, he can't. Shut down in the pocket of Exafang. And another goes to Cayman.
What an incredible team fight from Bulldog right here. This could be the game-winning team fight for them. Dragon spawning in about a minute. They managed to get that mid lane tier 1 as well, which will completely break open the map. That's exactly what you want. You want darkness in enemy territory when you have Aatrox flanking, Wukong, Ari. This is a full pick composition. You slightly move out of position, you get caught. And look at this here. Kasing will miss the ultimate on everyone, but look at Cayman on the side. Dives in instantly, tags Leader, instantly kills Perks, and the only one who gets assassinated by bullet time is the Wukong clone. No one cares. Bulldog Gaming, full HP bars, just keep chasing.
It's actually quite similar to what you were talking about with the Jarvan, where the MF ult goes down and everyone has an escape button. They take a little bit of burst, but they just leave immediately. So it's really clean from Bulldog. As Kasing's on a flank angle here. Dragon spawning up. Remember, this is Dragon number 3. The flash! The lockdown! Leader is obliterated! Kasing finds himself in the middle of everyone. Caught by the flag and drag. Lulis is being cooked by Perks, but the clone means he gets away. And Cayman secures another kill. Perks continues the chase. Lulis goes down. Exafang now face to face with 1. But Miatek and Cayman able to secure another kill. Perks being flanked onto. Jankos not going to find a flag and drag angle. And Bulldog, they are so good at team fighting.
Damn, man, Kasing has had a hell of a series. That flank was impeccable. impeccable, making sure you secure your third dragon. This is so point. Jankos could dive in. You have no smite. You have no smite, Bulldog. You have no
Don't
smite.
risk it, don't risk it, don't risk it. They're going to look for the lockdown. Jankos jumps in. This should just be the Dragon Steel. Jankos will die for it, but ultimately worth. Beautiful from the Ruddy sack jungler.
You have no smite, man.
Just wait for Lulush.
Okay. We need to calm down right here because there's so many things happening. What's Kasing? No one spots him. Flash Q into R onto the Azir leader. Had zero chance to escape that, and Perks might have the same fate.
Yeah, Lulush does have that Cyclone. That could be one dead Perks. He flashes away. Knockup comes in from Hustling. And that's going to be the chase forward from Lulush, but the slow from Hustling was enough. Monkey spin one more time.
Whoa.
Cayman's worth 100 gold, by the way. He actually just evaporated. Oh, 199 gold, so not the full 100. That is a rough showing for him on the MF, and that should just be Atakan for Bulldog.
Okay, it just makes it so hard, right? The pick composition that we mentioned earlier from Bulldog, so many flank angles, like to actually stand still on Misfortune and cast bullet time is like signing
No
your
time
death
for
wish.
replays.
Oh boy.
Kasing is in danger, but Perks is low. Kasing's able to survive this one. In comes leader. Kasing's able to make escape. Jankos gets the kill. Flash out from Exofang, goes to the flag and drag. Dodged away with the dash from Exofang to not go down. They trade top laner for support. We don't have time for replays, apparently. These two teams are just butting heads on loop. Jankos hit by the charm. Cayman is on fire on the Ahri.
Holy, the EQ right there, the E hidden in the bush sort of gives away the positioning of
way.
Jankos, and Cayman is looking for Hums.
They're going to chase him down. Can they get that charm? There's the lockdown. The hook goes wide. And that is one dead MF. He's worth even less gold. They get the Infernal Chains. Charm should be coming up fairly soon. Cayman's able to get it. 8-2. Make it 10-2 on the Ahri. Unbelievable.
They're looking for leader. Kasing is right in front of him, but the entirety of Bulldog Esports is right behind him. He doesn't have an empty tower slot to grow one, but they're actually not going to care. Honestly, I was thinking that it was going to be the different attack right here. Kasing!
Oh, no. It might be worth. Cayman gets the charm. That'd be his 11th kill. He's actually going to secure it. Atakan also in the meanwhile. But actually, Jankos is here, and the 50-50 could really cost them heavily here. Lulush, smite available. Can Jankos go for the Miracle Steal? He has been so on point. They're going to land some damage. Miatex playing into Rut. There's going to be Atakan secured. They may be able to get Miatex revive immediately as they go for the flag and drag. This could just be risky here for the side of Ruddy. Equalizer laid down. Miatex in danger. They're going to immediately collapse it as the revive comes out. Exofan gets an escape. Lulush also making a run for the hills. Just going to try and defend this tower. Bulldog. Unbelievable.
They've managed to turn the game around completely. Again, it's just so difficult. There's two sitting ducks of carries, the Rumble and the Misfortune. The second you misposition, you stand still to put down the Equalizer, to put down the bullet time. There's just so many abilities that can be thrown your way, that can CC you, lock you down for so long. So much chain CC coming through Bulldog as well. And again, the most important part from Bulldog's composition is the agency on every single champion. Sure, you have Exofang on another hyper AD carry, but this time around he can fend on his own. He's got so much mobility through the champion. He doesn't need the team composition to work around him. He can work around the team composition himself. And so far, Bulldog have been shining under the chaos. Flanks, finding angles, not allowing Hums to play the game has been key to success so far in this game.
I mean, I said it after game 2. I think Kasing is best when he is on an engaged champion. That is where he is at his absolute best, and he is making it work here. As Miatek is getting jumped onto.
Wow.
Doesn't have a revive, remember, so he may just go down. Hunt is trying to get the damage off, but teleports to safety. No Aatrox today. Even the
what you
cameraman
were
disagreed
wondering?
with that, shaking his head.
Were you wondering why he was standing still?
Yeah, I was like, What is he doing? It's a different animation. I've still got to learn it. Years of looking at old teleport as Leader gets himself caught out. Solar Flare comes in. They find the lockdown with the Zen Flare as there's going to be the kill. Exofang gets it with a splash, but he's going to get locked in place. Miatek launching in. They've got the revive, so this is ultimately a costly play. Jankos going for the escape. They pin Kasing in place. He's able to evade the tower shots and everything else. Miatek continue to chase. He flashes into Holmes' pocket. They get the withdraw out of one. As Miatek can't chase for any more, but the collapse on the mini-map, you can see they are coming in. Lulish, monkey spin, chasing in. That's going to be Hustlin going down as he is bopped by Lulish.
Looking for more. The Baron has the spawn. If they can just kill Jankos right here, if they can just find that one pick.
Nah. I think the Baron may be risky. Dragon's up as well, but oh no! Giving the kill to Exofang. Are they Baroning or are they Dragoning? What are we doing? Teleport in from Leader.
I think they're looking for more kills. That's the answer here.
Yeah. The revives are worn off. Cayman has found Jankos. Jankos is forced to flash. Cayman could chase for more. He's got the charm. Ooh. He's able to hit it. Perks is in the area, so Cayman has to make the escape. Can he get it off in time? No! Perks cuts him.
That slow was huge right there from Rumble. Didn't allow him to get close enough to the wall for that last ultimate ability that he had. Exofang dashes through. And I get it that you need to kill Jankos so Jankos cannot steal your dragon. And this is so for Bulldog. But giving your life away when you're one of the biggest threats in the team, it's a little bit of a misstep right here. And Ruddy are barging in as 5.
Yeah, they're able to try it, but there's going to be the equalizer down. Jankos finds himself on the wrong side, but he's going to keep the chase up. Exofang goes for the dash. Hook goes wide. Miatek just looking for the escape. Kasing, no flash available. He may just be the one who pays his price. Lulish is actually waiting around. They find the solar flare. Miatek has found Holmes on the back line. No way! Leader sends him over the wall. They go 1-for-1, but Hustlin's going low, and there's an Ari on the way. That's going to be a double kill for Leader. Exofang flashed onto by Perks. Triple kill for Leader. As he's shot down by Cayman, dashing away. They're not going to catch the Fox. Ruddy actually win that fight.
Really great fight right here from Ruddy, finding key targets, knowing that they're fighting 4 versus 5. Again, the biggest threat, which is the Ari, was not to be found. That's why I mentioned Cayman overstepping boundaries, chasing Jankos, going down to Perks. Really did cost Bulldog this fight. Is this still going to be soul point for them? Because the previous dragon was stolen by Jankos. So it's still going to be another dragon in the pool for them. But now it's a 2,000 gold lead for Ruddy. It's not that huge.
Oh.
They're pretty much dead even on the Rift. But damn.
If Bulldog get the next dragon, though, Hex Soul on the Zeri, on the Ari, it's going to be brutal to handle. And I kind of just want to peel back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the game. A lot of this comes down to Exofang's positioning. He's been positioning very well, but the person who's been positioning the best is actually Miatek on this Aatrox, finding flank angles, being an absolute just major issue for the members of Ruddy Sack. Hums 1 and 8 on the Misfortune. He is getting rolled right now by Miatek.
I don't think it matters that much though. Look at the difference in gold in top and mid. 1.2k up for Leader. Hold on.
That's onto Cayman. Cayman may just be the victim. Has to use that Zhonya's to try and stay alive through the carpet. Gets the ult off. Jankos caught by the charm. Gets the ult back onto Cayman. Cayman not going to go out, but the shutdown has been picked up onto Perks in the middle of this one. They've got Kasing. They've got members about. Are they going to chase? Miatek, full HP. Incredibly scary right now on that Aatrox as he dashes over the wall. Hustling. Hooks onto the wall in the middle of that, though. The resets are coming in. Leaders chasing onto Lulish. If they can kill the jungler, an opportunity to take this Baron opens up. But looks like Cayman's going to get the reset off. They can't get more.
And both of these teams are trying to find the key targets from both sides. Take the smites down. So important to secure that next Baron. This Baron will completely open up the entire game. It could even just be game over right there, depending on how many members die for this Baron. So none of the two teams want to give anything away. Great catch. Almost killing Cayman right there. This is the key target you want to take down if you're Ruddy. And on the other side, you definitely want to be taking down Leader. I think he's doing so much work onto
Yeah.
this Azir, creating so much space, putting out so much consistent DPS on that AP mage. And he's so close to that death cap as well. Once he gets completed, he's going to be dishing out so much damage towards the side of Bulldog.
Yeah, he's going to be a real menace. Lulish jumps over the wall into Perks, but Perks see that one coming a mile off and is able to make a break for it. Miatek, teleport available. He's going to just set up this bot wave and get some control of the current state of things. Exafang will have his third item finished up off the back of this reset. And this is actually an opportunity for Ruddy to go and try and see if they can find an opening with Exafang heading off. Lord Dom's now finished up. He'll be back on the map nice and quick as Zeri. But Ruddy, you can see the power. They're taking fights where actually they're fighting back very effectively. And ultimately, that last fight kind of boils down to Perks dying, but he got the ult off. And that doesn't just disappear. That stays out as long as it's normal duration. And it cooked Bulldog. They were hot dogs.
Let's see right here, Bulldog taking the first step into the river. They're allowing Miatek
Miatek.
to walk a little bit further in. Finding Jankos here could be
Oh,
huge.
Jankos getting himself out of the flag and drag. The equalizer goes down and is absolutely cooking them. Leader free firing off on the back line. Miatek going low. Hums makes the escape. Hustling low though as Cayman finds himself the double kill. Leader's chased onto. It's a triple kill. No, Miatek secures one. That's going to be the triple. Down he goes. Everybody falls but Jankos. Soul is all but secured.
And they're sprinting towards Baron as well. Baron is up. They can finish that objective first. Push down the waves. Bot lane wave pushed. Mid lane wave pushed. They're waiting for the dragon. 5 seconds. And you said it. This Soul with Zeri and Ari is going to be so annoying to deal with, as well as so much damage being dished out from the side of Bulldog Esports. 43-10. If Cayman remains alive in these fights, this Ari is unbeatable.
It's going to be really hard to handle. We'll have a look at the fight once again. Miatek, beautiful little catch onto Jankos here.
Yeah, has a sweeper as well. Make sure that he's completely unseen. And you have 3 members diving in. Exafang dives in, Lulash on the Wukong, and instantly Miatek dives into the backline, forcing double flush from Hustling and Hums. And that creates a 3 versus 4 scenario for the rest of Ruddy's side. If they find leader, they win. If they find Cayman, then Ruddy wins.
The big thing there as well is Exafang didn't get super focused in that fight. That was the first fight where he hasn't received all of the crowd control, so he was able to free fire off. Now, they do find Lulish with the ultimate here. He has to just use the ultimate because he hasn't got the dash. Jumps over the wall of safety. Exafang slides in with the ultimate. Leader's going low. Cayman finds the assassination onto him. Perks is bleeding out. Jankos, the ignite is down, and the fight is just going on so many fronts. Miatek secures the kill. Jankos, the only one standing. 200 health. Can he make the escape? He's being hunted by Kasing. He's going to find him doing the grump. And I don't think they need Baron. I think Bulldog might just have done this. Ruddy, a team who are so favoured after Los Ratones to be the second best team in the league, fall to Bulldog. It is an absolutely amazing underdog story from these guys. All the way from tiebreakers in group stage to beating Ruddy Sack. Their Nexus is the last thing to go down, and they have all but done it. Bulldog put on an absolutely gorgeous performance. Nexus crumbles. Bulldog win the series 2-1.
What an insane upset. Because that's exactly what this was. They were 1-3. 1-3 in their group.
Yeah.
They barely made it through the tiebreaker to the position that they did. And now they're coming in, no fear, taking the fight straight to Ruddy. And honestly, Cayman, what a magical, insane performance on this Ari. The flanks, the charms, the team fights, jumping through walls, jumping back out, the hourglass timings. He had a phenomenal performance in that very crucial game 3.
He really did. He really did. I mean, there's so much hype on this Bulldog roster. I think they had a terribly, a very terrible group stage. 1-3. As we got to tiebreakers, it looked like they had figured out what the key issues were and looked to fix them. Their team fighting is really, really solid. I am so excited to see how they match up versus some of our other teams throughout the rest of this tournament. But they're no longer worried about lower bracket, at least not for now, because they've managed to stay in that upper bracket. And Ruddy, they have a hell of a run ahead of them now because they've been knocked down into that lower bracket. This is the team who everybody placed as second best in the league, potentially the rat-killing team. And they just got rolled by a team who had an incredibly rough group stage and a team who honestly looked like they were improving at a rate unlike any other team in the league. That's the big takeaway.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm actually getting excited because the next time we see Los Ratones is going to be against Bulldog Esports.
Yeah.
And if they actually take this fight to them, they don't let them play the macro and they start just scrambling through skirmishes and team fights, it's going to be so exciting. We might actually see the first team that actually pushes Los Ratones to their limits.
I feel like if there's a team who right now could potentially contest them, it is Bulldog. But I think the big caveat is Los Ratones rely less on the team fighting and more on the map control. And that is Bulldog's big issue. That is their Achilles heel right now. So I'm very excited to see how that matchup's going to go.
Bring them
Bulldog
down to your
though.
level. Bring them down to your level. That's what you do.
Bulldog have time. They've proven that they're very good at improving. And they now know what their issues are. So they got time to work on it for that Los Ratones matchup. I am so excited for that one. But we are done here. We're going to pass it over to the desk to round that miracle run from Bulldog.
Thank you so much. And they don't stop. They're like science. They just keep getting better. You beat them up and they're like, good. I hear the ring bell. I'll get back up and I'll fight you. And it's on the mud as well, let's be honest. It's on the mud. And Jake told us something, Hipray told us something that I think it needs to be highlighted. Bulldogs has a rough group phase. I don't think that's the way we should phrase it. They were horrible. And then they became this. And this
so
is
quickly
something
as
to
well.
behold. Yes! Did you have glasses before? I don't know.
No, I didn't wear them before, but this game was so intense, I had to put them on, right? I mean, sometimes the plays were so bad, my eyes were bleeding. Sometimes they were so good, the light was so bright, I had to put them on. This was a phenomenally entertaining game. A bit of tennis played as well, as teams went back and forth. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe not so good, if we were to put it lightly. I think we have some interesting replays to look through, and I want to start with the 10-minute fight, or not the 10-minute fight, but the fight that started around 10 minutes in, because it was chaotic as all hell, right? It was back and forth. Bulldog wanted it, then Ruddy wanted it, and then Bulldog wanted it again, and I mean some misplays, some outplays, back and forth. In particular, keep your eyes on Ruddy, right? Because they're going in, trying to play front to back, but keep your eyes on who's coming into the backline soon. As Hums feels so free to just sit and unleash damage. Well, who's that on the backline? Miatek. And he's the guy who almost won it for Bulldog, but almost also threw it away.
And it was Leader on Ruddy's side as well, who was able to put in a lot of deeps in the backside there too. Loads of damage coming through to Bulldog's carries. But this is... there is a potential to turn this fight around for Bulldog, but that whiffed charm and the whiffed Q3 flash were kind of painful, actually. And at that point, I was a little bit worried. Yeah, Miatek gets some mop up something here. This is a spectator bug. I'm just gonna.
It was.
I mean, it was confirmed. It was confirmed on our end that it was. But this fight just never ends. It's the 100 Years War, League of Legends style. After this point too, the slow mo there to finish that clip off. Exafang and Kasing jump back in. They jump back in. They do kill Leader,
so
but
crazy,
the kill
man.
goes over to Kasing, right? So it doesn't. It's not actually that hot in the end because you want that kill onto your Zeri. So it looked a little bit rough from that point, but to be honest, that was just setting the scene for what we would see this game. 28 minutes into the game, we were 30 kills on Bulldog and like, what was it, 17 kills on Ruddy. Ruddy was still ahead in gold. How on earth you're like that many kills behind and still ahead in gold? It's absurd. And yeah, like the fights though that Bulldog were able to pull out, here Prain said it on cast as well, like they just have such good team fighting, and a great example is that was what happened a bit later on right here.
Oh, so good.
Was like the bait that they set here for Jankos. I actually thought this was going to be good for Ruddy when that red carpet comes down, but the collapse of Bulldog, they're all on the same page. The synergy from these guys just walk all over Ruddy sack, and only one man is left standing. It is Jankos, but a 4-0, not too bad.
Yeah, massive fight. Absolutely massive. Right, and we have one more to add on to that I really want to pull up as well. I think those final fights really highlight the problem with Ruddy's draft, right? Because the carries on the side of Bulldog, so mobile, so agile to get around the rift, and someone like Hums, it's so hard to reposition as a misfortune when you only have your flash. Keep your eyes on Cayman in this one as well. He perfectly maneuvers in and out. It looks like a bit of in, but he assassinates Hums, goes golden, and then just, you might have an idea of who he assassinates next. Goes in, takes down the other carry as well, and from that point, the game was over. Jankos survives, but couldn't save the game from at that point. It was done, it was dusted, and the maneuverability of Bulldog really being the deciding factor in those final fights.
I believe so. This was such an interesting turnaround of events because Bulldogs played such a wonderful game 1. Game 2, it was ready up, and look at this. Wow, the damage from all of them. I think Miatek was a beast. Came in, stepped up. Exafang playing with the Zeri, signifying like, hey, don't worry, I don't have a lot of AD carries, but I can shine with every single one I pick. That was top notch. I think it was top notch League of Legends.
It was very entertaining as well, right? Like, so scrappy, a lot of fights happening all the time. And, there are a few things to take away from this damage chart as well. The fact that an Aatrox is top when there's, all these range champions is something. Perks, as always, I said, high damage top lane often has the highest damage share in the league. And there he is again, leading his team, leading the entire game. And I want to call Hamza there with didn't have a lot of damage at all, but like, holy crap, how hard was it to play Misfortune into that team comp, right? Like, you can't get close to them because you get wrecked. Bloody the solo laners from Bulldog were so tunneled in on Hamza every single team fight. Like, there was nothing that he could do. He wasn't getting the protection. And then if he was able to stand still and get that bullet time off, right? Like, he would then eat a solar flare from Leona. Yes, you've got the Cataclysm to lock people down, which is a nice combo. But when you've got like Zeri and Ari, even Aatrox to a certain degree as well, who just, see the Cataclysm walls around them and just... Whoop! There you go. Sorted. They're out. Like, what do? You can't sell that bullet time anymore. So, yeah, it was a really hard game for him to play. And just a hard game in general. Fantastic quality League of Legends. And exactly what we want to see from our first day of playoffs.
It's now the lower bracket run for Ruddy. Meanwhile, for Bulldogs, they're going to be on the top side of the bracket. They're comfortable. They have their plus continue, that extra life. And also, they have the opportunity to jump into the interview because they said, I'll see you soon. They actually made it to the interview yet again. So I believe it's Cayman. I think it's Cayman that's going to join us on the interview. Wait, is he bringing him?
Yes!
Let the dogs out! Okay.
Hey, you promised us this and you made it. I mean, are you sweating? Are you sweating?
I mean, actually, honestly, this last game was really sweaty. Like, I mean, Ruddy, I don't know if you will have interview with one of the Ruddy guys, but this game, like, they had 6 grubs. They were perma pressuring our base. We had to perma beyond sync. Like, I was perma. I was like streaming as well, and I was like perma. Guys, we have to, play TP, go. Like we had to be perma on the how to say it, basically on we had to care that they don't fuck up our base. Oh, sorry for the fuck word. Anyways, yeah, we came out on top, and I think Metek and me made like good communications on the TP with the 6 grubs. That's really risky, and obviously we had the Tomi Oracle, saying Bulldog will win. The dogs came out on top. And yeah, if you're a dog enjoyer, I guess you are happy. And if you're a Jankos fan, I'm sorry, but I had to bully him. Sorry.
But tell me something. Okay, you're talking about bullying, but there's an incident on the mid lane where you as an Ari go for that charm on leader, the perfect opportunity with Aatrox. How are we doing? How are we doing with the charm effect? Where you were like, it slipped, my hand slipped, and then my mouse.
I think let's just say Leader is really good at League of Legends, and
Yeah.
he has my respect. And he is not only good at Assassin's Skies, he's also good at Arozzi. So if you keep yapping on about him being only a worst mage player, no, he's not. He's not the worst mage player.
Yep.
So for sure, good job to them. And I think, yeah, I fucked up. Again, I ducked up some charms, and but the charms on Hums, they were there. Like, oh, you have to give me that misfortune.
You also
didn't want
landed
to play the
the
game.
good ones at the end game. Tell me something. Bulldogs have been rising non-stop from play day, which was not what you intended. Let's be honest. It was not the way Bulldogs were supposed to show up to what is happening right now. What changed?
I think it was because, like, I told the team, we have to make our schedule. We have to go into gym before, and then we are like, we are just stronger. Like, what can Yankos do against? It's fine. But I think, like, on a serious note, we had some duck ups from our identity. I think you saw, like, in the games we lost. You can still see that. I don't want to leak it. But I'm analyzing as well, and you can see there are clear differences in these games. And basically, we have to find our identity, right? And I think we are, like, on a good way. And we were also having a meeting before the tiebreaker, spoke honest to each other. Like, I think it's just like in a relationship. If you are honest to each other, you can overcome anything. So in our team, we were honest to each other, and now we are stomping LLS, we are stomping Verdun, we are stomping Ruddy Sec, and then we are getting stomped from Los Ratones. So, joke.
That was my next question.
Wait,
is it just
Tommy,
taking home?
Tommy,
No,
Tommy,
doesn't matter.
Tommy.
Tommy is okay.
Tommy, come.
I don't think this is
but-
okay. That the other perspective was better. But tell me something. Los Ratones. This is it. This is the big one. How can you face that team? Because you thrive in chaos. Meanwhile, Los Ratones thrive in adapting.
Yeah, I think they are also really good. Honestly, like, that's why I gone to NLC to get the best competition. And like, they are really good. Like, we have to be really clear on lane swapping, because Bao's playing the Psy and Gragas. Like, even today, he was at the Nexus again, playing with 4 people and doing some Gragas or E-Flash. And then, like, you have to be clear on that, what Baus is doing on side. And I think, honestly, it will be really, really tough. But like I said, honesty, hard work, gym, and dogs can face everything. So we just have to keep it up. And then we can also win against the Reds. Let's see. I honestly, I think if I would put my dog against the Red, like, I knew we would win, So let's see. Maybe Caterham just has some crazy Red, but I trust my dog. And let's see what the dog oracle says anyways.
I like how every single time you go back into the dog. So far, recipe for success. You're now alone. As he's leaving, we're leaving as well. Cayman, thank you so much for this interview. It was a blessing to see you play. That was a chaotic, interesting League of Legends gameplay. I'll see you soon. I hope. Have a lovely one.
See ya, guys. Thanks for watching NLC or my POV. And kisses for everyone we believed.
He knows. There's a recipe. He's always exhausted after these ones because taking care of that dog must. It's not easy. That's a
Such a
big
cute
dog.
dog, though. Lovely dog.
It is, but still a big dog,
Mm-hmm.
He is, yeah. But I mean, he's very cute, which makes me happy. And when we see him, it means Bulldog have won, which also makes me happy because this is a team that's worked really hard to overcome, and to actually prove that they're not the team we saw in week 1. It's always nice when you can see that steady growth of a team and actually see someone like realize their potential and potentially even exceed their potential as well.
So let's do a recap of today. We started off with Los Ratones versus DMG. It was a straight one. Los Ratones are showing up why they are they have such a big name and why everybody keeps talking about them. It's not a meme team, not even close. The experience, the adaptation, the knowledge, the effort they're putting in. second to none. On the other side, though, Ruddy Sack versus Bulldogs was a bloodbath. It was a adaptation for both teams, but Bulldogs came on top. What do we have to say about today?
It was for the Lost of Donetsk game.
Okay.
Always out. It was expected. It was expected, honestly. Like, I think 2-0 was kind of predicted, and DMG, yeah, they didn't get to put up much of a fight, you know. Whereas when it comes to the Ruddy Sack versus Bulldog game, I mean, the fight expectations, you know, just two complete opposite ends of the spectrum of what we came into thinking would happen today. And it was great League of Legends. There was so much action, which is always really fun. And my biggest takeaway, I'll say, was just like how impactful this like brutal like fearless draft mode is, right? Where if you pick it, then the other guys can't play it next game either, right? Not just you, but the other guys can't either. You see a champion once and it's done. So hard to then adapt to the draft, and I'm so interested to see how the next phase of these playoff games go, and how teams adapt in the draft with the fearless mode.
Yeah, it was an entertaining day. We had a bit of an upset, and yeah, I think it is fair to call it an upset. Bulldog beating over the course of 3 games at the very least, taking down Ruddy Sack. Lost Tones look exceptionally clean in terms of their macro and micro as well. Very good mechanically. DMG still have a long way to go, but I am hopeful of a little bit of a miracle run down in the losers bracket. But having Ruddy Sack down there already as well, really hypes that lower side of the bracket up. I am very excited to see how that unfolds. But so far, so good, I want to say. I think, yeah, a bit of everything today to start off playoffs. Really exciting.
I agree. Playoffs just started and we already delivered a really interesting show. But we're not done for this week. We still have tomorrow, January 30th, and we're going to watch Rich Gang versus Verdant in North versus Venom Crest. That is the BO3 we'll be watching tomorrow. Then, if you look into the schedule, we have on February 5, we'll start on the lower bracket. That's a 1 to deleted team. And that's... we finally meet Death at the bottom of it. And to start off Death, it's going to be LLS versus DMG. And there are players there that know each other extremely well. But that's obviously for another conversation. For today, this is all from us, Foxtrot and Duckling. Your goodbyes, so I can wrap it up.
Yeah, it was a great day, League of Legends. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow for some more beautiful League of Legends.
Oh,
Yep.
Duckling.
That's a perfect way to say it. I hope you all enjoyed today. We had loads of fun on the desk, and it looks like the team had loads of fun on the Rift too. That's it for us. Yeah, it has been exciting. More to come tomorrow. I'm excited to see how the rest of playoff unfold. More stories to be told, more miracles to be seen, and more upsets yet to happen. So yeah, just the beginning.
We didn't say it better, Duckling. That means that we wrap up for today. And until tomorrow, go to solo queue, have fun, hug your dog or cat if you can before he bites you. And until then, keep climbing. We love you very much. Without you, it's just not the same, okay? I'll see you soon. Have a lovely one. Goodbye.